Well, I didn't think it was even possible at this point. I didn't think the Knicks were capable of losing a game at this point, as they were on the ropes early and often in this one, and yet they just kept coming back and coming back and coming back. And even at the end of the fourth quarter, the tail end of it, whenever it looked almost inevitable that the San Antonio Spurs would be striking back in this series and taking the first game off of the Knicks since April 23rd. I still didn't even believe that it could be done until the final buzzer sounded. But lo and behold, the San Antonio Spurs have done it. They have proven that the New York Knicks are not totally unbeatable, as their really historic playoff run spanning 13 games over like a month and a half nearly has been snapped. The San Antonio Spurs have struck back. The San Antonio Spurs have brought this series now to 2-1, and they do it on the road with their backs totally against the wall, with an absolute insane asylum inside of the building. New York has been waiting for this for 27 years. They have been waiting for the coronation of a championship for 53 years. And now they're going to have to wait a little bit longer, because the San Antonio Spurs finally put it all together. They finally closed the game. They could have won either of the first two, really both of the first two, but their inexperience and their lack of ability to execute down the clutch was their ultimate undoing in both of their home games to start this series. And obviously the Knicks had all of the momentum coming back to Gotham City tonight for Game 3 in the Garden, where ticket prices were soaring. Allegedly, the get-in price around $9,000 just to get into the upper tiers and take the worst seat in the building. So with everything going up against the San Antonio Spurs, Victor Wembanyama, of course, with a historic performance. Victor Wembanyama, a terrific game from the 22-year-old. So much talk about him over the last several days, about how he's choking, about how unclutch he is, about how he's being exposed. I actually made a video about it today, and I possibly threw a little clickbait element into it, where I have LeBron from 2022 on the thumb in a similar pose to Wembanyama with an overrated word on my thumbnail. However, in the context of the video, throughout the entirety of the 15-minute video itself, I am doing nothing but defending Victor Wembanyama and pushing back against these outrageous, premature, and in my estimation, quite frankly, silly narratives that have been circling around him basically since the loss in Game 2, where he admittedly had a terrible 10 seconds. He throws the ball off Stephon Castle's back, essentially just into Jalen Brunson's hands, then fouls Brunson. Brunson makes one of two. Wemby has a shot at the buzzer to win it, and he misses. Could not possibly script a worse final 10 seconds for anybody ever in a Game 2 down 0-1 at home in the NBA Finals. But Victor Wembanyama showed exactly why he is a top 2 player in the NBA already, why he is soon to be the best player in the world and the face of the NBA. He showed it all tonight. It was all on display. 32 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks for Victor Wembanyama, and a +7. Not the best plus minus on the team tonight. That would be Devin Vassell. A bunch of unsung heroes tonight for the San Antonio Spurs, including Keldon Johnson, the wayward 6th Man of the Year award winner in the regular season. Well, that was a long time ago, because this guy seems to barely play in the NBA playoffs. Dylan Harper has obviously overtaken him as the number 1 guy off the bench. But Keldon Johnson, look, a meager stat line tonight, just 7 points on 3 of 5 shooting, but in 17 minutes, registered a team best +14. So invaluable minutes, I thought, from Keldon Johnson tonight. Harper was not good tonight, actually. I thought Harper would be magnificent tonight. I thought he would have to be magnificent tonight. And quite frankly, he had his worst game in a while. In 32 minutes, only 13 points on 5 of 18 shooting, and a -8 off the bench. So thank goodness for Keldon Johnson tonight if you're the San Antonio Spurs. And I thought a number of guys were big in the starting lineup as well. Look, De'Aaron Fox, probably still not physically right at this point in this series. Still dealing with the injuries from all the way back in the Minnesota series at the end of that series. But De'Aaron Fox hit the shot, I thought, down the stretch to kind of secure this game and get it over the finish line. Yes, there was still some things that transpired after, but De'Aaron Fox to me hit the biggest shot of the night. But again, look, Stephon Castle, finally, he had been playing poorly. 23 points for him tonight on good shooting, 8 of 14. But again, it is all about Victor Wembanyama, which is why I've been saying that the narrative about Jalen Brunson versus Victor Wembanyama is entirely overblown. It's Wembanyama versus the Knicks versus Wembanyama, because the Knicks are a team. They likely are at this point. They're not going to be the better team next year, but they are the better team right now. But Victor Wembanyama is still the best player on the floor, even though he's only 22 years old. And of which, much is given, much is expected is the way I've changed that saying. And we expect a lot out of Victor Wembanyama because he's been given a lot already. Third in MVP this year, first in Defensive Player of the Year, first team All-NBA, first team All-NBA defense. Doesn't matter that he's 22 years old. He is a top 3 player and arguably a top 1 of 1 player right now. Doesn't matter how young, inexperienced he is. We don't expect to see failings. We don't expect to see him silenced, muffled, and shut down like he was in game 1. We don't expect to see him melt down and throw up all over himself in the last 10 seconds of game 2. We expect this out of Victor Wembanyama. And when he delivers this, the San Antonio Spurs they are still capable of coming back and winning this series, obviously now as it is 2-1. And the game on Wednesday, game 4 in New York, is going to be an absolute battle. Because to me, the winner of that game wins the series. This is exactly how I thought the Spurs would win tonight. I think the Knicks will win game 4, and they better win game 4. Because if they don't, they're going to squander a 2-0 series lead on the road. And this will be just another monumental collapse in the history of New York sports that they'll be talking about for the next 50 years, more than likely. So they better do everything they have to do, anything, whatever it takes on Wednesday night to get this win in that 3-1 lead. And then they would have 3 opportunities to close the series out. Then it was a good all-around effort by the New York Knicks tonight. I thought Jalen Brunson actually had his best game of the series to this point, in my opinion, though he was very good down the stretch in game 1. Still not terrific shooting tonight, but he was as efficient as he's been all series. He came into the night shooting just 34% in the first 2 games, 11 of 25 tonight. So still about 46%, but 32 points. He hit some big shots. He was -9, still not the worst on the team, the worst in the starting lineup, though, for him tonight. The best player to me for the New York Knicks tonight, easily, OG Anunoby, 28 points for him on just 9 of 13 shooting, 5 rebounds. I thought Anunoby was terrific. He's been terrific all postseason. He's been very good this entire series. He was fantastic tonight. 28 points for him. So 28 for him, 32 for Brunson. And unfortunately for the Knicks, it was a quiet night out of Big Purr. This was his first real bad game of the series, maybe his first real bad game of the postseason. 11 points on 4 of 10 shooting, 8 rebounds. So look, Big Purr was outplayed. Karl Anthony Towns, of course, is who I'm talking about. Outplayed on both ends of the floor tonight by Victor Wembanyama. And really, that's all we're asking. If these teams are extraordinarily close, they are closely matched, they are equally as hot. I know the Knicks are hotter in the playoffs, but if you expand it to the second half of the year and on, the Spurs are the best team from the All-Star break to this point. And so 2 immensely hot teams, 2 very well-constructed teams. The difference has been, to this point, Cat has dominated Wemby by and large. Tonight, that wasn't the case. Wembanyama outplayed Karl Anthony Towns substantially on both sides of the court. And the result tonight, obviously, is the Spurs get the win, and they absolutely can get 3 more if Victor Wembanyama continues to play like this. It's a big ask, obviously, because they have a great defense dialed in on him, but he is capable of this performance against this team, and he's going to need to deliver 3 more of them moving forward if the Spurs are going to come all the way back after dropping the first 2 games at home. Terrific response by them, and the Knicks, will be ready in Game 4 on Wednesday. And like I said, they had better be one day to get it together and come back out with a massive series-clinching performance, in my estimation. And we'll see how they respond, quite frankly, to a little bit of the shine being taken off of them. They looked invincible. They hadn't lost a game in whatever, I don't know exactly, 6 weeks. And so we'll see how they respond now to being humbled at home in front of that massive, raucous, sellout crowd that was just ready to party tonight. I'm sure a somber walk home or drive home for all of the people in attendance tonight who dropped, $9,000 to $50,000 to be in the building. Many thanks for being here, guys, for joining. Welcome in Skap Live After Dark. It is, we're approaching midnight at this point on the East Coast in the good old US of A. So we are in the New York time zone. So for any of you suffering New York fans tonight, welcome in. Welcome into you 800-ish people that are on hand. We've already got a lot of comments streaming in here. I would be remiss if I didn't do it. I got to get it in. I don't want to get behind on things and fail to slide this in. Look, I know it's pretty early in the show. We got moderator Gary on hand. I'm going to welcome him in a minute. We'll hear from him, get his thoughts. But my wife was watching the game with me, and I kept saying, OG Anunoby, my God, what a performance by this guy. I kept saying OG or Anunoby, and my wife became obsessed with his name and decided that his new name was going to be OG1 Kenobi. Now, guys, this would have hit a little bit better probably had the Knicks won, because OG would have been the big hero of the night. But nonetheless, this is his new nickname moving forward. I need to start this social media campaign. Guys, please start OG1 Kenobi trending if you can. So my wife, her hard work here with this beautiful picture. We got the blue lightsaber, the Jedi Knight, and Kenobi ultimately was playing and balling out like a Jedi Knight tonight, because I thought he was the very best player for the Knicks tonight. Though, again, Jalen Brunson, best performance to me of the series, even in the loss. I thought maybe they were going to get it done. When he hit the 3, when Brunson hit that 3 to cut it to, I think, 4, and then Anunoby hit a big 3 as well on the corner, which was a crazy 3, like a ridiculous high difficulty 3. I think it was with Gary, what was that? Like 9-10 seconds left. He hit that corner 3 to cut it to 2. I was like, oh boy, here we go. I was like, and they fouled Stephon Castle. I was like, if he misses one, I can smell the New York Magic, like buzzer beater 3 to send it into OT, and then the Knicks win overtime by like 15 points or some shit. Like they just win like 20-5 in overtime, and it's over. It's 3-0. It's a sweep city on Wednesday. But it was not meant to be. Stephon Castle, who I thought played pretty poorly offensively to this point, had a great game tonight. He hit several big shots. He had a lot of big threes, and he iced those 2 clutch-ass free throws to put this game away. So as great as Wemby, as great as he was tonight, I mean, De'Aaron Fox hit the shot, I thought, and then Stephon Castle iced it ultimately from the free throw line. It took all of it for them to get a 4-point win to get back into the series. Gary, welcome into you, longtime Spurs fan. How are you feeling after this big win tonight?
I'm still processing. I'm just taken aback by this whole series. I'm still recovering from game 2. That pass to the back to Castle, we should have played at least for overtime. We could be up 2-1 right now. Instead, we're down. I'm just glad we're not down 3-0. The one criticism I have for the Spurs right now, stop shooting so many threes, especially down the stretch when you have like a 6 to 8 point lead. You don't have to try to win by 15 or 20, which is essentially what they're doing. All you need to do is avoid a scoring drought, because the way the Spurs have all season let teams back in is when they go long spurts, long stretches without scoring. Avoid the scoring droughts. That means attack the basket, get good shots, just get twos. Even if you draw a foul and even if you miss one free throw out of two, at least you're scoring one. When you got that lead, just be smart. I'm tired of seeing all these threes. I think Vassell missed one, and another guy, Dylan Harper missed one. And Dylan Harper would just attack the basket. They play so well when he does that, because this guy is so poised, and he's really like the wild card in this, because they're so focused on Wemby. But if Dylan Harper comes in and turns into Ginobili or Kobe, then he opens up an entirely different element, which makes us very hard to beat.
Yeah, Gary, to your point, Harper was 1 of 8 from the 3-point line tonight.
Right. So
not
annoying.
Good. Yeah, not good. And they shot 12 of 34 from 3 overall. 3 less, actually. I thought the Knicks fell too in love with the 3-point line tonight, too. They were 13 of 37 tonight, were they? Hart hit a bunch of Hart, he was hitting. Sometimes Hart will just have 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, 4 steals, 4 assists, and no points sometimes. And then other times he's just blistering from 3. Hart will be catching balls, falling to his left side with a hand in his face and hit them tonight. Sometimes he just pulls that out, and sometimes he just doesn't. So he had a really good shooting game tonight. Other than that, really, OG Anunoby was 9 of 13 from the field. He was 3 of 7 from the 3-point line. He hit that big one from the corner late, like I said. Brunson was 3 of 5. Those guys were basically it. I thought that we're shooting well. Landry Shamet, 1 of 7. Mikal Bridges, 0 of 3 tonight. Also, I got to give a shout out. I was trying to think, Gary. I was trying to think of it when it was happening. I can't remember who. Someone left us a comment last game that they needed to unleash Clarkson. The Knicks needed to unleash Clarkson. And I was laughing at it because last game he registered a DNP, coach's decision, when that comment was made to unleash Clarkson. So shout out to whoever said that. I'm sorry, I can't remember who made that comment now. Jordan Clarkson tonight, 13 minutes, 10 points, 4 of 7 shooting, 2 of 2 from the 3, a +8 for the Knicks, which was the second highest on the entire team, behind only Mikal Bridges, who was +11. And that +8 came in only 13 minutes. So maybe whoever made that comment is right. They need to unleash Clarkson. Okay, Gary, look, we're about 20 minutes in. I want to hit some comments here because we've got a lot. They're stacking up quickly here, Gary. However, I see a lot. I've been watching the live comment area, and I see a lot of people now referencing me as a, quote, Wemby Glazer. Wemby! Listen, I'm not going to be criticizing a dude who's 22 years old that is averaging. He came into tonight averaging 28 and 11 on 40%. I realize the 40% is assy. I get it. And it's not excusable. Game 1 was terrible. And the choke job at the end of game 2, obviously terrible. But what's not to celebrate about this kid tonight? He's 22 years old. He had probably the worst moment of his entire basketball life with the way the 10 seconds went, because he basically single-handedly lost the Spurs that game. And he comes in tonight on the road in the hostilest of environments and goes 32, 8, and 6 with 3 blocks on 11 of 18, totally outplays Karl-Anthony Towns, who's had him bottled up for 2 games. What's not to like about this performance tonight? I see so many people rapid firing Kobe Glazers or Wemby Glazers. Sorry, I only bring Kobe up because somebody else said, by the way, Kobe, Shout out Kobe. I see a lot of people saying you wouldn't be surprised if Skap says Wemby's better than Kobe in this post. Not only am I not going there, look, I will defend the honor of Victor Wembanyama, but I will not put him above the greatest 22-year-old that has ever existed on a basketball court. Yes, I'm talking about the late, great Kobe Bryant in the 2001 NBA playoffs, where he ascended to the best player on earth while averaging 29, 7, and 6 in a postseason where average scoring was like 94 points per game, and they won back-to-back NBA championships. Yes, I know, but Shaq was Finals MVP. Yes, but Kobe led the team, led the Lakers in scoring during the entire Western Conference playoffs, which was the real NBA Finals. Kobe during the Western Conference playoff run was averaging 31, 7, and 7 on like 59% true shooting or something gaudy and outrageous like that. Kobe Bryant was the best player on planet Earth. He played in a series against the San Antonio Spurs where Shaq and Tim Duncan were playing. Kobe by far the best player in that series. Kobe, the best 22-year-old these baby blues has ever laid eyes on. So no, I will not be saying that Wemby is better than Kobe. I wouldn't even say 26 Mr. WrestleMania. Look, I like to go with these things in order. And we have like 30 of these comments already queued up. And this is the most recent one. But I just saw it and I grabbed it. I don't know that I would even say MJ 22 better than Kobe 22. In fact, I can't say MJ 22 better than Kobe 22 because MJ broke his foot at the age of 22, played like 17 games. Yes, he had a masterful, I believe it was 3 games in a sweep in the first round. I think that's the year they played Larry's Celtics, and he had 63 in that game. So you're making a good argument, 26 Mr. WrestleMania. And Larry Bird, I'm pretty sure that was the year that Larry Legend said that wasn't Michael Jordan. That was God disguised as Michael Jordan. After GOAT Mike gave them 63. But still, Kobe at 22. And by the way, Mike at 22, that was like 1986. Spoiler alert, I was barely alive that year. So I damn sure I damn sure didn't watch that game personally or that series personally. So actually 26 Mr. WrestleMania, while you make a compelling point for MJ at 22 based on, even though he got swept in the first round, he was doing it against one of the greatest teams ever constructed in the 86 Celtics, like a top 6 all-time team. And GOAT Mike did that. In fact, let me just make sure I'm not making this up. Let me just go to the NBA playoffs 1986. Because you guys know I'm such a stickler for stats and stuff. No, I am right. I am dead on. That was the first round 3-0 sweep for the Celtics, where 22-year-old Mike dropped 44, 6, and 6 per game on 50%, 51% shooting. 44 per game, again, in a 3-game sweep against this Boston Celtics team, which ultimately went on to win the championship and is one of the best teams ever. This Boston Celtics team, absolutely a legendary run. I think they lost 2 games all year at home. They were 67-15 in the regular season. They had that year, they had the league MVP in Bird. They had MVP 13, McHale, who was All-NBA defense 1. They had Dennis Johnson. They, by the way, had 4 All-Stars. So Larry Bird, McHale, Dennis Johnson, Robert Parrish. And then they had 6th man of the year that year as well, Bill Walton. Just an absolutely stupidly stacked team. And again, one of the 5 or 6 best ever assembled. GOAT Mike at 22 was hanging 44 per game on them. But still, I didn't see it. And I can tell you that GOAT 2, that would be the second greatest player of all time, Kobe, was the best 22-year-old I've ever seen. And I've been watching basketball for about 30 years now. I've seen LeBron at 22. I have seen, Luka Doncic at 22. I've seen now Victor Wembanyama at 22. And GOAT 2 Kobe is the best my baby Blues right here has ever laid eyes on, the best 22-year-old ever. I did not stumble when I said that, guys. Okay, Gary, anything to add real quick before we pop into these comments, which, by the way, are popping. Thank you guys very much for being here. About 850 people. Actually, I have something to add. Please like this video right now. Like this live stream, guys. Please send a shout out to the algorithms, to the YouTube space or the YouTube gods or whatever. Let them know that the Skap Live After Dark stream is dope, welcoming, and the waters are always warm here. So you guys should come and join too. The YouTube algorithm will not know unless you let them know with a little like. Please also subscribe and turn notifications on too at this time, if you don't mind, while I'm asking you for favors. Please and thank you, guys. I can't do it without all of you. Gary, anything to add before we slide into these comments?
Yeah, shout out to the chat and a quick message. Jay and I, we want to do game 4. We want to report from Madison Square Garden, and we want front row seats. So if we can get enough super chats tonight, we will do Skap Live After Dark from Madison Square Garden on Wednesday night. Now, I saw tickets, front row seats were going for like 180 grand a piece. So we're going to need you guys to dig into your pockets. Then, of course, airfare, hotel fare. So just somewhere around 400 grand we need to make tonight in super chats. And we'll be there Wednesday night.
I'm sorry, Gary. Did you say $180,000 for is what courtside seats are going for?
Now that is what I'm saying. And if that figure was embellished and say it was only like say 90,000, well, if we get the 400 grand, well, we can just pocket the excess. We'll just tell them, you know, that we needed 200 grand a piece. It'll be like, excuse me, Mr. Lee, Mr. Stiller. Those seats actually belong to Mr. Skapanak and Mr. 828. We're going to have to escort you away from that, and then they can go to the nosebleed sections. You and I are going to be in the front row where we can do Skap Live After Dark around 11 p.m. on Wednesday night. It's going to be the best live stream ever.
So, Gary, do you think they would let us stay in our seats courtside like till like 3 a.m. doing the live stream? You don't think we would get kicked out or anything like that after the game?
Well, I didn't say we were going to be doing. We're going to watch the game in the front row.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
We'll do
like a live watch party from the front row or something.
Yeah, we will be somewhere. Yeah, and then after, we'll do it even if we're outside the arena or in the lobby, wherever. We'll probably do the first hour inside the arena as they're doing the post-game talk, and then fans can sit for a little while. And then we'll move it outside, and we're going to interview nice and friendly Knicks fans. Because they're just so affable.
They will be if the Knicks win, not so much if they lose. I saw there was like, Gary, it was Ben Stiller, Timothy Chalamet, and who was the third guy that was
Tracy Morgan?
No.
Ben Stiller, Tracy Morgan.
It was Spike Lee. Like Timothy Chalamet was sandwiched in between Spike Lee and Ben Stiller, like right on front. Like I can't imagine. Yeah, those seats probably were going for a pretty penny. My wife actually, in addition to making the OG1 Kenobi animation, which I put up, and I'll put it up again one more time before we start the comments. She was also inquiring as to what courtside seats were going for tonight. I saw like 50, 60. I was guessing like 70,000 maybe, but over a hunch to get in there. Man, that is tough.
Okay, so you know what? Maybe the report was off. So if say we only get 200 grand in super chats tonight, we'll see. You know, if it comes down to it, we'll just go in the upper deck. If you guys just send 200 grand, that's all we need. We're not. Plus I need an extra 100 because I want to buy a Victor Wembanyama jersey to wear at Madison Square Garden because we all know that would go over well.
Yeah, well, I'll offset that, Gary, by I'll wear a Big Purr jersey, and it will actually say Big Purr on it. It will not say, or maybe I'll have my wife emergency print me an OG1 Kenobi shirt, and I could wear that. Let me just put up her fabulous artwork one more time. OG1 Kenobi. Shout out to him. Terrific game by the Jedi Councilman, their OG1 tonight. The 28 big time points, that massive 3-pointer in the corner. Gary, have you seen the Incorruptibles' latest little avatar here? You now have a crown, and
Okay.
he is now calling you Le Scalper Gary now, based on your
No,
latest.
we're watching the game. We're not scalping. All we need, we're just waiting for the super chats to come in and get around the 100 grand area. And once that happens, we're gonna start looking into getting our tickets and booking our flights, and we're gonna do Skap live Wednesday night. It's gonna be lit, y'all.
Well, we're on our way, Gary, because we have a bunch of comments to get to already. Thank you guys very much. Shout out to George Costanza, the Human Fund CEO, who's going to lead us off tonight. Voodoo activated. Let's help Gary. Let's get Gary. Well, get Gary to Madison Square Garden. That will be the new hashtag tonight. Thank you, George Costanza. Always a pleasure to have Jason Alexander in the chat. We have a lot of celebrities. You think that there's a lot of celebrities in the Garden tonight? There's a lot of celebrities on this live stream. We've got Jason Alexander comes in here. Donald Trump actually is usually in here. We'll see. He was at the game tonight. We'll see if he makes an appearance in the actual live stream again tonight. We got famous wrestlers in here. I mean, it's been a great run, this playoff run for us. Personally speaking from and I have to get let me hold on 1 second. I have to change, to my, there we go. The Skap Live After Dark little corner thing there. Sorry, I just noticed it was my regular Skap Attack. Gary, I actually did a impromptu Sunday stream at like 1. I knew you would be going to sleep and you would be unavailable. It was only about 2 hours. It was a nice little turnout. We had about 400 or 500 people in there. Yep. But people were asking for you. The Incorruptible donned his new avatar and was asking where you were and wanted us to argue about something. So everybody, like I told you on Sunday, Gary, the moderator Gary has made his full triumphant return tonight. All right, next in we've got BZ6, Josh and Kat, guilty crybabies. Carl Anthony Towns has been the big hero to this point of this series, and tonight he's the big goat, not the greatest of all time, the bad goat, like the guy, like the scapegoat, like the guy that you can most kind of point to as to like why the Knicks lost, because he was doing things on both ends of the floor against Wemby for the first 2 games, but Wemby struck back in a big way tonight in a historic fashion on the road in the Garden. Terrific performance by him. And if he gets you 30 on high efficiency for 3 more games, they're going to win the series. There's just nothing, because the Knicks are going to be, I think Brunson will be controlled enough. Even tonight in a great game for him, he still shoots like 45%. So he's still shooting under 40% for the series. I just don't see him getting loose. Therefore, they're going to be in the low 100s usually if he's just shooting like 40%, taking like 30 shots. So, can someone from the Spurs, can Wemby be, historic like he was tonight? If he can do it 3 more times, they're probably going to win. So we'll see. And the Spurs have other good guys too. Someone joined him tonight, someone in the form of Stephon Castle. We'll see. 2 guys, Brunson had a good game tonight. OG had a good night for the Knicks. And then on the other side, Wemby and Castle had good nights. We'll see who shows up. Obviously, to me, I think the Knicks are probably going to win that game somehow, some way on Wednesday. If they don't, though, best of 3 moving forward, 2 of the 3 in San Antonio. I think they would go up 3-2 then in game 5. So it's a must win for the Knicks, I think now. Game 4. The Spurs have shifted and applied all the pressure onto them. So we'll see BZ6 if Big Cat can bounce back in that game, or Big Purr, I should say. All right, Human Fund CEO is back in. What's up, Jason Alexander? Welcome back in. Watched that 1 MJ v 10 LBJ. Gary, who's your Mount Rushmore? First of all, George, thank you very much for watching that video. You guys have been doing great work on that for me. It's got 100,000 views already in under 2 days. It is up to, I believe it is 9th or 10th on the hype. On all sports videos across the entire YouTube platform, it is like 9th most hyped sports video. And they track hypes for 1 week. So I'm 9th in 2 days. So likely we're going to get that thing up to number 1, at least probably top 3 of all most hyped videos on the platform. Look, I did not speak about this publicly. I don't even know if I can or should, quite frankly. I appreciate the partnership with House of Highlights and Clash, and I would be interested to do more of these with them. However, I am not totally ecstatic about the final edit that they put forth on that video. A lot of stuff was cut out, and most of it feels like, as someone that was in the room, feels like it was my best points in that debate were all cut out. And like some of the only good points that they made against me in like 2 hours were obviously all left in, and my rebuttal was almost always removed. So I'm not totally ecstatic about the way they cut that video. However, even though I think they were intentionally trying to edit it to make LeBron look good in the conversation, or if they were just trying to edit it to make it look like it was a close and enjoyable and fun debate to watch, because I buried them in live time in like two plus hours that we were going for. It was only an hour and like 12 or 15 minutes. So whatever the intentions were, obviously I wasn't very enthusiastic about the edit, but I've read several of the like over 4,000 comments now on it, and it is overwhelmingly pro me that I still won the debate. So as I was watching, I was like, damn it, where are all those other points that they're like, I'm making it look like I lost this debate, or at least it was close. But then when I go in and read the comments, even with that, like people are still like Skap killed, Skap 100%. Like it's like 95% me winning the debate of the like 4,000 plus comments. So thank you guys though for watching and hyping it and spreading it. Go ahead, Gary.
I watched it, and you know what my initial reaction was? This looks choppy. It abruptly ended. I was like, there looks like there's a lot more left. So now this perfectly explains it.
And you can even tell, Gary, there were some points in the debate that was left in where I was like, referencing something that I already mentioned, but I hadn't mentioned it actually in the video. Like I was like just mentioning something real quickly that like I already set the stage for and dropped in like two or three previous debates or whatever, or statements, and it was just totally removed and cut out. So the one thing that I was like most disappointed with was the Michael Jordan faced harder competition than LeBron James. To me, that was the most difficult claim for me to defend overall in general. So I was most prepared for that one. And I had most of my stats and figures ready for that one. And I talked extensively about how many 50-win teams Michael Jordan played, how many 50-win teams LeBron played, how they both fared against those 50-win teams, how many 60-win teams they both played, how they fared against those teams, how many MVPs or MVP runner-ups to themselves they played along their collective runs, and how they fared against those things. Literally all of it was cut out. Every single element. So that was already the hardest claim for me to defend, and they literally chopped my legs out by taking all of my good points away. So but it is what it is. I understand that we went for like 2.5 hours. They wanted to keep it at under an hour, and I think it was an hour 15 runtime. So it already went beyond what it should have gone. And they wanted to, of course, go for, abrupt, quick edits and like have it more of a back and forth and have it look like more of a formal debate. So look, I understand, but like it seemed like to me. Maybe it's just because I was watching it and I'm me. Maybe to them, they're watching, they're like, oh, well, you cut out our best stuff, or you like moved, you took me out and I had all these good points. So that it's probably a little bit of that going on. What really all that really matters is I still won the debate. Like even the video they put out,
so.
I still won. So ultimately there's that. So thank you guys so much for watching that video though and hyping it up. Please still continue to do it. I still would like that video to get spread as much as possible, and I would like as much eyes on it as possible. Like I said, it's over 100,000 views already. It's moving, it's tracking better than the Kobe Bryant video at this time. So, and the Kobe one's at like 400,000. So this one likely is going to go bigger than that one. So thank you guys so much. Gary, all right, George Costanza wants to hear your Mount Rushmore.
Is it on your channel or only House of Highlights channel?
It's on my channel and the Clash channel. It's on my it's on the collaborations tab on my channel. You could also find it more easily if you go to my quick little 3-minute video with Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and it says LOL on that thumbnail. It's just like a 3-minute video.
Yeah.
It's one of my most recent videos. It has the link embedded in the description of that video. So you could just watch that video real quick and it redirects you. It gives you the link at the end of the video as that video is playing out. So those are the easiest ways probably to access that video.
I don't see a collab tab. I'm scrolling on my phone right now, but I can find it on your posts, like your video, like you just mentioned, or a community post. You put it up there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like I already hyped it because I was going to go back and hype it.
Now, Gary,
I already did.
Let me be clear on this now, Gary.
Yes,
and
sir.
To all of the viewers out there, you get like whatever 1,800 hype points or some shit a day. Or like or 6. So you can hype it every day. Like you can keep going back and hyping it. Give it like whatever 610 or 800, whatever 1,800, whatever the maximum hypeage is. If you guys could do me a favor and get me to #1. I think I did hit #1 with the Kobe video by the time the week ended. I think that I had with Clash and House of Highlights, we had the #1 most hyped sports video on the entire YouTube platform, which is a nice flex. So I'd like to get the MJ one there as well. All right, Gary, go ahead and give Jason Alexander your Mount Rushmore. I already know 2 of them. You've got MJ and Wilt, obviously.
Yeah. Do I sound clear? Something just went wonky with my headset. Do I sound clear? You
glitched for a sec, but you're back.
Okay. Yeah, I don't rank things the same way that like Skap does and other people do because of the different eras. I just can't really like rank people in totality. But as Skap said, my 2 best players, MJ's my 1A and Wilt is my 1B. If I had to put 2 more players on there, I think I'd have to go with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell. You know, and then there would be another tier under that would have like Bird, Magic, Duncan, and Kobe. I put them all around the same because they all came into favorable positions in the league, and they all obviously exceeded those. They did very well. I have a hard time really ranking people from different eras, and this is probably something Skap and I would get into a more detailed debate and potential argument on, because I feel Skap is overly harsh on some players who didn't actually win a championship, and Skap feels like you have to grade them through championships.
You got to win at least one, I think. At least
one. I agree, in elite territory, you need to have one. I just think guys like Stockton and Malone and Barkley are just, I still consider them just on the list. But I'm rambling right now. I don't want to ramble too long. We got a lot more to get to. But I would say Jordan, Wilt, Kareem, and Bill Russell. You think that's fair, Scott?
Not only do I think it's fair, Gary, I've said this a lot. I don't know that I've said it officially in a video or talked about it, but like while I have Kobe Bryant #2 on my all-time list, I am fully transparent about that. I made a 30-minute video about my top 10. I think it's a great video. I wish it would have more views. It's got like 90,000 views right now. Go find it. It's a 30-minute video about my official top 10 and why I have them there, the justifications. I have Kobe Bryant at number 2 to Michael Jordan. But in my opinion, I think there are 4 players that have a claim to be like the GOAT. And I have this, I really started this conversation because everybody has LeBron James at 1 or 2. And I don't think has any claim to the GOAT. I think you can say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the GOAT because he has the best resume. He has the best overall resume. He is the second leading scorer in NBA history. He's top 3 in blocks and rebounds. He's been to 10 finals. He's won 6. He has 6 league MVPs, most ever. He has the best resume, better than LeBron's. I think you could then make a case for Will Chamberlain, the most individually dominant, like statistically impressive specimen that ever existed in NBA history. Like if you don't really care anything about wins, just outright dominance and individual excellence, you can make a case for Will Chamberlain. Bill Russell then, 11 rings in 13 years. I don't care that there were only 8 to 14 teams in his time at his time. Right. I don't care that he had 6 to 8 other Hall of Famers. The dude was the best defender and the leader on a team that won 11 championships in 13 years. He's the greatest winner in NBA history. So he's got a case. And then Michael Jordan, to me, like the greatest total peak and package, like the best offensive and defensive player, like the best scorer ever. He went to 6 championships in 7 years and won 6, or went to 6 and 7 and won all 6 with very minimal help compared to the other dynastic players. So I think those realistically are the 4 guys that if you say to me, one of those 4 guys is the GOAT, I'm like, okay. Like if you make the case to me properly, I won't give you much pushback. To me, LeBron has no case whatsoever. So, and then I think to me, since Jordan's my GOAT, I think the more thing is like, who's the second is the better conversation. I think you can make a case for 7 or 8 guys at number 2. Yeah. I make the case for Kobe Bryant. So like, that's just where I'm at there. But yeah, Gary, I don't want to push back on your Mount Rushmore at all. Very solid Mount Rushmore overall, in fact.
Oh, wait, no, I'm going to take Kareem out. I got to put Bronny James.
You can't leave Bronny.
All right. Jay Savage, look at this. Look at what he is telling us. The ref cheated the whole game for Spurs. What about when they called the push on Keldon Johnson to take away Wemby's 3? I don't deny that there were some calls in Spurs' favor, but not all of them.
Yeah, I thought the 2 games were there were calls in game 2 that were like pointedly for the Spurs. Like there were some bad calls against Karl Anthony Towns in particular that I just simply did not agree with in game 2. I thought game 1 was very clean and pretty well officiated. Tonight, I mean, it looks bad. It looks bad when there was a stretch, Gary, I think, of time in the second half where I think the Spurs had shot 19 free throws to 3 of the Knicks at one point. Like it was like mid-4th, and at that point, the run had been like 19 to 3 free throws in the second half in favor of the Spurs. Overall, it wasn't a terrible discrepancy. 32, well, only 10. I mean, 10's not glaring, I don't think. 32 shot for the Spurs, 22 shot for the New York Knicks. But by and large, I mean, it wasn't, look, to me, again, I compare everything on the scale of Thunder. Was it as bad as what I see in Thunder games? And the answer was no. So I wouldn't say that it was glaringly terrible or apparent. I will say that probably the calls skewed or leaned more Spurs for the second consecutive game now, after I thought it was a pretty neutral, evenly called game in game 1. So I would say it is trending more Spurs. Look, the NBA wants this series to go as long as it can, obviously. So I don't know what level of conversation they might potentially have with the officiating crews or whoever they send in to, lead that crew or whatever, the crew chief. So I don't know. I don't want to imply specifically that the NBA is like intentionally rigging these games, but there's a way that you can call games or lean certain calls in one direction that would favor the gameplay of one team over the other. Though the Spurs and Knicks do play very similar basketball though. So it's not necessarily like, look, when the Thunder play the Nuggets, if they're told to let things go, let contact go, that obviously favors the Thunder. Is they're a physical defensive team. The Nuggets are a finesse offensive team. So like clearly that is a big, advantage for the Thunder. But if you go in and say, hey, call the game this way, both teams kind of better, like they both play similar brands of basketball. So really anything short of, hey, give the Spurs more questionable free throws than the Knicks, like that's pretty much the only way you can tangibly impact officiating. And I don't know. I am a conspiracy theorist to some degree, but in terms of the league actively, like intentionally telling their referees to rig games in one direction, to intentionally extend the series, like I don't know if I'm willing to go that far, but people have made the case before, and there are some pretty good cases that have been made, I have to admit. All right, BZ6 is back in again. Okay, look, another refs comment. Gary, go ahead. What's BZ6 saying about the refs?
Keep crying, guys. Blame the refs. They clearly didn't let you guys get away with hold-ons and push-ons. Laugh emoji.
See, look, I don't even know which team he's necessarily even talking about. He said keep crying about the refs, so I guess that it would be Knicks fans that he's talking to. So he's insinuating that the Knicks have been getting away with a lot this series, actually, and that they finally called it the right way according to him. See, a lot of the times officiating and stuff is in the eye of the beholder, and it just depends on who you're rooting for, what team you're invested into or whatever. For me, look, I really have no dog in this fight. Like I really like both teams. Like I'll be really happy for whichever team wins, and I'm going to be really bummed for whichever team loses. So like I don't really care. I just want to see good basketball, and God bless these two teams. They've given us 3 good games in a row. Like we got a 7-game series in the West Finals, but those games were largely ass individually. Like these guys are giving us bangers for 3 straight games now. So thank you. I'll take a couple more of these, please and thanks. So like I what I'm saying is though I'm a neutral observer. So like to me, today and game one weren't like glaringly egregious to me. Like I just didn't see like yes, there were some things where I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like there was a call. I think Vassell got a flagrant foul or something like that. Like they called a flagrant foul on Brunson. I was like, that is not a flagrant foul. Like I thought it was more when Stephon Castle just beelined and blew Brunson to pieces, and he fell and hit his back pretty hard. I thought that more closely resembled a flagrant than the Vassell flagrant when Brunson was like moving underneath him when he landed. They gave Brunson a common foul on that one, whereas Vassell got the flagrant. So I thought that was pretty cheap. I'm okay with neither being a flagrant, both being common or both being flagrant. Like I didn't like the differentiation between those. Those are the only 2 things that I specifically had a problem with in the game. And I guess technically those both kind of went against the Knicks, but like that again, it happened early on in the game. It was two calls that I didn't really enjoy. But other than that, I thought this game was pretty evenly officiated. And there were things I thought both teams had some complaints on throughout the course of the game as it pertained to the officiating, if that makes sense. All right, we've got Kayako is up next. What's up? Welcome back in, Kayako. Thank you so much. A good friend to the show. Thanks for being here. Most disgusting displays of officiating I've seen. So as we see, it is running hot on both sides. There's a drastic variance of takes right now on the officiating of this game, probably depending on who it is that you're rooting for. Again, like I said, usually, again, it's human nature. Like even if you're watching a game rooting very strongly for one team and you see like 1 or 2 calls go against you, you're like, oh, you see, we're getting absolutely screwed here. But then you get like 1 or 2 good calls that go in your favor and against the other team, but you don't really see those. And you don't factor that in to the equation of, well, it's all really ultimately evening out. And I say this more about the NFL officiating because the NFL officiating really can, like one call can decide a game in the NFL, 100%. And I say typically like it all evens out. Like, I try to make a point to never complain about officiating in football because it all evens out. But sometimes, just sometimes, there are calls that are so blatantly awful and they completely screw one team that you just have to admit it. Like, I think there was like an offensive or there was a pass interference call, like not called for the Saints at one point in an NFC championship game or something. Maybe it was, I don't know. But it literally stopped them from going to a Super Bowl. And they just got unequivocally screwed. But by and large, I don't see calls in like one. I don't see like one team just getting absolutely blasted by calls usually. Again, unless I'm rooting for one team or the other, then I do, because I have that. I have that fan lens on, and I'm just watching it with my heart, really, not my head. But Kayako, if you think it was the worst display of officiating you've ever seen, well, I thought it was way worse in game 2, actually, in terms of the Knicks. I thought the Knicks got screwed with a couple calls against Cat in game 2, but they still won the game. Xavier DeGod is in. Thank you, Xavier. Welcome into you, my friend. Appreciate you as always. Let's go Spurs, win 4 straight. I do not think that the New York Knicks just went 13 in a row over 6 weeks to lose 4 consecutive games at this point. Like, no way, no how. Like, as good as the Spurs played tonight and as much as they threw at the Knicks early and often, the Knicks were still right there. It was a 2-point game with like 8 seconds to go or whatever. So the Knicks are still going to be right there in all these games. They've got a lot of fight in them. They're a special team, special collection of players. And look, the Spurs can still win this series, but it ain't going to be in 4 straight, in my opinion.
It happened in 2012. The Spurs were 10-0 going in, and then OKC rattled off 4 straight. I don't know how many of the last regular season games, so I don't know the exact number, but in the playoffs, 10-0, they swept the first round, swept the second round. I remember in game 3 against the Clippers in round 2, they were down at halftime by a pretty large margin, and it seemed like Clippers fans were happy. Spurs go on a 24-0 run in the third quarter and just totally deflate the Clippers. The Spurs also appeared unbeatable for a period, and then boom, out of nowhere. That's why I was absolutely stunned when OKC rattled off 4 straight wins. So it is, although 10's not as good as 13, but it's similar, and anything is possible.
That's true. These games are so close, though, Gary. It can be 3-0 San Antonio or 3-0 New York. Yep. Like, either team could have won all 3 of these games. So, I mean, it's just so close. I don't know that either team is going to be able to win 4 straight because they're so evenly matched. So, I mean, we'll see. It's going to be a very intriguing game, obviously. Yeah. They've been 3 great games. I'm sure it's going to be another great game in game 4 coming up on Wednesday. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I hopped over. The Incorruptible with that fresh, new, shiny avatar for Gary. Stephon Castle, clutch. LeGeriatric, clutch. Oh, I see what he did here. I see what he did.
I don't even know. This guy is lying. I'm tired of spreading a misinformation. You know, just because I said that LeBron was robbed in round 2 against OKC, clearly the refs were working against the Lakers. LeBron should have went to the Western Conference Finals, probably would have taken the Spurs to 7, and we'd probably be having the Lakers and Knicks right now. And the Lakers would probably be up 3-0 with LeBron about to get – he's been robbed ever since that amazing championship that he won in the war zone in Disney in 2020. As your friend said there, that was a war zone LeBron won it in. Right. I mean, LeBron's just getting robbed against Phoenix. They got robbed. Denver – that sweep that was the most egregious officiating I ever saw when the Nuggets swept them. Oh, and don't get me started the next year when Jamal Murray hit those 2 game-winning shots in that series. I am so sick and tired of the league just stacking everything against LeBron because he should have like 8 or 9 championships by now. He is the GOAT, and I don't work for Clutch, so I don't want to hear that BS.
Incorruptible, you see, he is clutch. He is K clutch. He doesn't need, and he's out here asking for $100,000 or $200,000 to get him to New York. He doesn't need any. He doesn't need any money from you guys because he's got all the money he needs from Rich Paul. Oh, by the way, I got an email from Rich Paul. I should have screen grabbed it I will next. Oh, wait. Looks like Rich replied to me here. I got to figure out how to share my screen one of these days. I got an email from Rich Paul, guys. Maybe he's on right now. And he wants to offer me $25 million. But I have to upload a video every single day proclaiming that LeBron James is the greatest of all time over Michael Jordan. So I asked for half of that 25 mil to be wired first. And then I would start work, and and then after I deliver a couple videos, in the other 12.5. So guys, if you ever see a video not on April 1st, on April Fool's Day, about me saying LeBron is the GOAT, then you'll know that Rich ultimately came through and wired me that 25 milli. All right.
So if you get it tomorrow, then we'll be at the Garden on Wednesday night.
We maybe Rich, maybe Rich will be sitting next to us. Rich and Adele will be sitting next to us. It will be Spike Lee, Timothy Chalamet, Ben Stiller, me, you, Rich Paul, Adele. That will be like the front, like that will be the court side, middle of the floor. Like that will be what it will be. Rich and I maybe Rich can be a special guest then as well on the maybe he could sit on one of our laps like a little ventriloquist dummy, because he's all of like 4'8". So just to make sure we can all fit in the one shot, obviously. All right, we've got Finale in next. A shame there is no traditional box score stat for Wemby's defensive impact. Knicks are fearless in the paint without him and scared with him there. Same as it always is, right? Like same as it always is when he's on the floor versus off. And all you can really see is the defensive rating, the net defensive rating individually. Like what do the Spurs provide? Like what do they do defensively when he's on the floor? What do they allow per 100 possessions? There's another way to look it up, which I prefer, honestly, the on-off, which shows defense on the defensive side. What do the Spurs allow when he is on the floor versus off the floor? It's basically Nikola Jokic on offense. The impact that Victor Wembanyama provides on that side is essentially Nikola Jokic's offensive on-offs. So look, I haven't looked it up for a while. So I'll just go on since you mentioned it. And look, this is your comment. Let me just go in and see exactly what his playoff on-offs were on defense coming into tonight. During the regular season, purely outrageous. They gave up 116.5 points per game when he was off the floor. And that was in 2000. He's actually off the floor more than he's on it this year in the regular season. In the regular season, he played in only 1,868 minutes for the Spurs, and he was off the floor for 2,081. So he actually was off more than on. And the times that he was off, for like over half the time this year, they allowed 116.5, which is essentially right at like league average, I think, this year. Well, league average, I think, was 115. So, or no, it was like 116. So they were slightly worse than league average on defense without him. With him, 106.8, which would have been number one in the NBA per 100 possessions, better than the Oklahoma City Thunder. So that's how impactful this dude is. 10 points per 100 possessions better with him defensively. Crazy. In the NBA playoffs, it's actually even better. They allow 113 without him, 102 with him. So it's like 10.5 better in the playoffs. Again, that's like Nikola Jokic type kind of offensive efficiency on the defensive end. So yeah, Wemby is an absolute floor riser and a generational game changer on the defensive side of the ball. A-Culture 24 is in next. Fraud streak. Harden got them gassed up, lost home. Well, A-Culture 24, look, you could say it's a fraud streak because, look, they escaped Boston because the Sixers did their dirty work for them, right? Took out the Celtics, who I thought was the best team in the Eastern Conference going into the postseason. And then, look, they got the Atlanta Hawks, who were very hot in the regular season coming in. But still, it's not not a juggernaut in the Atlanta Hawks. Then they get, again, the Sixers, who Joel Embiid just fell apart in that series after they took out Boston. Then they got the Cavs, who totally quit. Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, just straight loser mentality. So I hear what you're saying. But then they came into this series against the Spurs, who just took out the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 7 in their building, and they won Game 1. Okay, you could say emotionally, physically exhausting 7-game series against the defending champs. No shame in losing that Game 1. But then they took Game 2 as well off of them, A Culture 24. So, and then even tonight, look, the Spurs, that's a must. That's basically an elimination game. If the Spurs go down 3-0, no team in NBA history dating back to 1950 has ever overcome an 0-3 hole. So this was essentially an elimination game, a must-win for the Spurs, and it's still 115-111. It was a 2-point game with 10 seconds left. So A Culture 24, you may think the streak is fraudulent, but this Knicks team is damn good, and they're playing elite-level basketball right now. Mark Law 13 is in next. Shout out to you, Mark. Welcome in, my friend. Another regular. Refs cheated in this game 4 in favor of the Spurs. Yes? Question mark. Well, I don't know. You guys all seem to think the answer is yes. I watched the game. I do not have volume on through the games, as I say. I typically do not watch any pregame, postgame, or halftime coverage ever because I can't stand some of the off-court things that go on surrounding pre-games and stuff. I also hate all of the on-air personalities at this point that cover the NBA. So I just don't care to listen to anybody at this point. So I also don't really hear the intricacies of what's going on with the calls. I can see calls that are being made, and usually I will, since there's no sound or whatever, I usually will determine what I think the call should be on the floor with no volume. And sometimes I'm like, well, that's a bad call. But tonight, again, there's only 2 specific things that I really didn't like. The Vassell, the flagrant foul on Brunson when he stepped under Vassell when he was landing. And then the non-flagrant on Stephon Castle running through and blowing Brunson up. I thought those should have been the same things. So, like, if one was a flagrant, the other should have been too. If one was a common, the other could have been a common. Instead, the Knicks got a common foul, and Brunson had to go to the free throw line, shoot 2, and they did not get possession. Vassell got the flagrant foul. He went to the free throw line, shot 2, and they got possession. So that was really, to me, that was really it in terms of, like, glaringly bad calls. Yes, those both went against the Knicks, but it wasn't like the refs were cheating or whatever. They did review both of those things. I disagreed with the outcome of the reviews. And then there was a big scuffle down the stretch between basically Mike Brown. Both coaches were pissed. Like, you had Mitch Johnson was losing his mind. Mike Brown was also losing his mind. Both guys were yelling at the officials. Both sets of players were arguing. I couldn't tell for the life of me what the hell was going on. They went to a timeout, a commercial break, and they came back, and the Knicks inbounded the ball and had the ball, and that was the outcome of it. So I think it was a bang out of bounds type call, and they were debating whether there was a foul on the play or whether the ball was out of bounds or what. And to me, it was just like, okay, whatever. Let's just inbound the ball, or maybe even do a jump ball. But again, I don't think, as I was watching it, I wasn't like overwhelmed with how lopsided or one-sided that the officials were being in favor of the Spurs. Last game, yes, you can make a case. This game, you can say it leans Spurs, so that would be then 2 games technically that lean Spurs out of 3. Go ahead, Gary.
I don't think they're favoring the Spurs per se. I think they're going to favor whoever needs that whistle to keep the contest going, and that's been the Spurs thus far. If it was reversed and the Knicks were down, I think they would have been getting a favorable whistle to help. So I think they're just trying to extend things as much as they can.
That's fair, Gary, but by extension, it's helping the Spurs win the series, because I think if like the Knicks, like if they extended to a game 7, the Knicks are going to lose. So like if the Knicks should have won tonight or whatever, and it should have been 3-0, then the Knicks would have won. But now if by extension they get it into a game 7, I think that the Spurs are then going to win, and they have cost the Knicks a series. So I understand what you're saying, but like, how will they even out? Like, basically, how will they say that in game 7? Like, we have to give the Knicks every single call in game 7 and like make sure they win because they really should have won, but we took calls away from them in games 2, 3, and 4. Like, I don't know how they're going to even that out for the Knicks then moving forward.
Should call it pretty even. And if it goes to game 7, the league is happy.
Right.
Because that's going to be a big ratings booster. And it's a win. The NBA, for all of us, for genuine, authentic NBA fans, this is a win-win because we have 2 really good teams playing. No cheat team like OKC. No LeBron. Oops, I forgot him. I got signed. LeBron's been cheated. No egregious calls like they've been against LeBron. No, but seriously, I just feel like the NBA wins, the fans win regardless. I'm a Spurs fan. Of course, I'm going for the Spurs. But even if the Knicks win, I'm just glad that OKC didn't win with all the flopping and cheap tactics.
Right. That's where I'm at. I go in. Basically, look, I'm a Nikola Jokic, and I like Giannis a lot. But Giannis never plays in the playoffs anymore, so he's not a factor. So I go into every year hoping that the Nuggets win or rooting for the Nuggets, I guess. But secondarily, and more importantly than the Nuggets, way more importantly, I go in with teams I don't want to see win. So every year I've basically gone in for the last like 10 years or whatever, saying I don't want Golden State or LeBron's current team to win. So basically I don't want Steph Curry or LeBron James to sniff another ring. So basically any year that I go into where LeBron and Curry don't win, I'm happy. Like, it doesn't matter to me really. And now the Thunder are on the list. So now every year that I go into now, the 3 most important things before I worry about who I like or who I care to see win, I can't see the Thunder, LeBron, or Curry win. So so basically the Thunder now are on the list. So the fact that Curry, LeBron, and the Thunder will not win a championship this year, good damn year for me. I don't care. Like, really, I don't care. And I have the benefit of liking both teams. Like, I really like both these teams, and I feel good about either one of them winning. So hopefully it is a good series the rest of the way and highly competitive games moving forward. All right, BZ6 is back in, and look, BZ thinks you Knicks fans, damn it, are insufferable and that you guys are giving him LB vibes. That, of course, LeBron James vibes is I'm pretty sure what he's alluding to there. So those aren't good vibes to give anybody. So I don't know, BZ, what is it? Is it the officiating that everybody's complaining about that's got you feeling a certain way? I mean, LeBron can't complain about officiating, obviously. LeBron gets all the calls always. So I don't know why he or his people would ever be complaining about calls. All right, next we've got, oh boy, Senzu Bean, maybe. Gary, what do you think? Senzu Bean 27. Okay, what's up, Senzu? Appreciate you being here. We need to take a moment to admire the run Shamet had up to this point. Some of the most unreal shooting I've ever seen finally came down to earth. Yes, Landry Shamet had been absolutely blistering in this postseason. In fact, let me just go ahead and see what this dude's. I want to make sure. I want to check out what his true shooting is during this playoff run. I hate how they don't put these. Yes, he is leading the NBA playoffs in true shooting. In fact, this is how ridiculous the New York Knicks are playing right now. Just how absolutely outrageous this run has been. Right now, these are the 3 highest true shooting percentages in the NBA playoffs right now. That's the whole playoffs, guys. Like, there are 2 guys on this list at 4 and 5 that played in 1 series and 2 series. So, you would think that if you just played in 1 series, you would have the advantage because your stats could be super blown out. If you played in 5 or 6 games, your stats could be super blown out. The longer you go, the Knicks have played 18 games now. The longer you go, the more depreciated your shooting percentage should become. But now, The Knicks, despite playing all these extra games, Landry Shamet is leading the NBA playoffs in true shooting right now, 74%. True shooting is a totality kind of an estimate or a picture, a snapshot of your total shooting, including like three-pointers, free throws, and standard twos. So Landry Shamet, 74% leading the NBA playoffs. Number 2, OG Anunoby, or as my wife would have you know, OG Juan Kenobi. Number 2 in the NBA playoffs, 72% true shooting. And then Karl Anthony Towns, Big Purr, shooting 71% true shooting. 3 Knicks leading the NBA playoffs in true shooting, all over 70%. Absolutely stupefying. And I've never seen anything like it. But to your point, Senzu, yes, it did not look good for Shamet tonight. 1 of 8. So yes, 1 of 8 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. So, and by the way, a game worst -20. So, in 23 minutes. So they were outscored by 20 in a 4-point loss, outscored by 20 in 23 minutes when Shamet was on the floor. So, ouch. Like, I guess when you come back down, you come back down hard when you crash back to earth. All right, John O'Ratcliffe, what is up, my friend? Brother, welcome in. Welcome to the party, John. Thanks for being here. John, hey, John boy. I just realized that welcome to the party, of course, a Die Hard 1 reference, and John McClane, the guy that utters the line. So John O'Ratcliffe, thank you so much for your continued support, generosity, and your kind donation tonight. Gary, what is the question or comment accompanying this very generous donation from John?
What's up, brother Skap and brother Gary? I finally gotten a day off after 7 straight doubles. Nice Michael Jordan video, by the way, Skap. Go Spurs. I hate everything New York minus my New Jersey Jets.
Well, congratulations to you, John. First of all, for the Knicks losing for you, obviously, and for finally getting a day off following 7 straight doubles. What the hell is a double, Gary? Is that a 16-hour day? Does that mean you work 2 full shifts? So a double is a 16-hour shift?
12 to 16, depending if his shift is... A shift is usually anywhere from 6 to 10 hours, one, but typically 8. So you would guess 16, but anywhere from probably 12 to 18, but probably 16.
Man, 7 straight 16ers. That is hard stuff there, John, my friend. I hope you're just lounging around, sipping a nice, neat glass of Johnny Blue right now after your hated Knicks lost tonight, listening to Skap Live After Dark. I, for one, am damn happy to have you on board, my friend. A definitive OG dating all the way back to when we started doing this thing last year. So, sir, thank you very much. And seriously, have a drink, relax. Just let my soothing vocals just give you a nice, relaxing evening over that bottle of Johnny, hopefully. We've got Darth Carnes, Dylan Brooks, Ara. What's up, my friend? Welcome in. Another prolific sponsor here in the Skap Live After Dark sponsor area. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. My manager switched my schedule recently, so now I've been missing these lives. Glad to be here. Look, Darth, look, I appreciate you guys, and this is to all 700 people that are still here as we approach the 90-minute mark here and the 1 o'clock a.m. hour on the East Coast here in the US of A. I love that you guys are here live. I would love you to be here live if you can make it. If it fits within your schedule, please get on here live. Obviously, Darth, you are a sponsor as well, so I of course appreciate that. And you really can't make comments, obviously, or anything like that if you're not live during the show. But these things do obviously store in YouTube as videos. I think any live over like 5 minutes or some shit automatically becomes a video after the live ends. So these lives you can find them all the next day. So if you want to listen to them still, if you are whatever, you can put headphones in at work, or if you're driving to and from work, or if you're walking your dog or working out or whatever, and you missed the live stream from the night before, well, just please get in there and watch the video, watch the live the next day. You can comment in the comment section and like it and whatever. And you can help me out there. And quite frankly, look, most of my videos at this point get like hundreds, if not thousands of comments. So sometimes I try to read as many comments as I can, but I can't read them all in the videos. But the comments on the live videos, like the post live video, there's, the comments in there is very limited. It's usually, anywhere between like 80 to 200 comments. So pretty much I pretty much read all of those comments. So if you want to get a message to me or get at me or whatever, you can always get into that post live and watch and drop a comment there. But thank you, Dark. I'm glad that your manager switched your schedule and you can get back in the actual live as it's intended to be viewed live. Big Meech 3533 is in next. Thank you, Big Meech. Welcome in, a regular Big Meech. I know you are, so thank you so much for coming back and joining us. Dang, oh well, wasn't the best game for the Knicks. Hats off to the Spurs this game. Yeah, you just got to tip your cap, though. Big Meech, a lot of Knicks fans are instead just blaming the officials. But I think really the big story in this game is Victor Wembanyama. Like, the officials didn't make Victor Wembanyama shoot 11 of 18 and score 32 points. Victor Wembanyama, look, he shot 9 free throws, so he was 8 of 9 shooting from the free throw line, but still 11 of 18 from the field, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line. He had 6 assists as well, 3 blocks, only 1 turnover. The story is Wemby. Like, Karl Anthony Towns had canceled Wembanyama for 2 straight games. Wembanyama was by far the best player on the floor tonight. That's why they won. It wasn't the officials. But hey, who am I to tell you guys who to complain about or who to blame the loss on? If Karl Anthony Towns plays Wembanyama like he played him in games 1 and 2, in game 4, you guys will be up 3-1. You're going to win the series. Finale back in again. Welcome back to you, Finale. Thank you so much for yet another generous donation. I appreciate you very much. Gary, what is the latest question or comment from Finale?
Also, great job defending MJ. Funny how Bron beat the best team ever Warriors. MJ's 72-10 are the best ever. No one says the Giants beat the best team ever, just that it was a historic upset.
Great point. And I did talk a little more specifically about that, and I think I did undress that claim a little bit more. But again, there was some cuts made in the editing room floor that kind of derailed some of the points that I was making at different portions of that debate. But yes, absolutely, you're right. To say a team is the best team ever, they won 73 games and lost 9 in the regular season, but then they lost 8 games in the playoffs. They were 15-8 in the postseason. So, like, how is that the best team ever? It sounds like it's not, obviously. As that 72-10 Bulls team highlighted going into the playoffs, don't mean a thing if you don't get that ring. I think that Warriors team was a elite regular season team, but they had definitive flaws on that roster in a playoff setting. And there were suspensions and injuries that played a factor in the finals. They should have lost in the Western Conference Finals, though. They were down 3-1 to the Thunder and getting absolutely obliterated in that series. See, I'm spitting all over the place because of how worked up I still am about that series. Klay freaking Thompson, if it wasn't for him and that masterpiece of a game 6, then the Thunder win that series 4-2, and I think they would have beat the Cavs ultimately in the NBA Finals. But an extremely flawed and imperfect playoff team, that Golden State team. A far better team than that team was the team the next year that the Golden State Warriors ran out with Kevin Durant. They only won 67 games, not 73, but they went 16-1 in the playoffs, and they beat that Cavs team 4-1. So get out of here with they beat the best team ever assembled. They beat the team that won the most games in the regular season, which means very little to me. If you don't get that ring, it don't mean a thing. But thank you, Finale, for watching that MJ video, and thank all of you guys who have watched it. If you haven't, please find it. If you have, hell, watch it again, or at least give me some hype points again, if you don't mind. Hype me every day so we can get a Skap Attack based video to the #1 most hyped video, sports video on the entire YouTube platform. All right, we've got Beanie O 191. What's up, Beanie O? Shout out to the mods tonight. Shout out to LeGary, the clutch moderator here. We do, as always, Gary, appreciate you and your efforts here in Skap Live After Dark. So yes, to echo Beanie O 191, shout out to Gary. We've got TJ DF 1978. What's up, TJ? Welcome in. I appreciate it. For a sec, I thought OG was Kobe and 8. Yeah, OG was looking kind of Kobe-esque tonight with that stellar game. 28 points, 9 of 13 shooting from the field for OG1 Kenobi. I gotta continue to call him that because my wife is now obsessed with his name and Star Wars. Even though she's even not that big of a Star Wars fan, she's like, is Obi-Wan Kenobi is he a good character? Like, as she was making this little image here, which if you are just joining us, I'll just go ahead and throw it back on because she was cracking herself up while she was making this thing. So I feel like I have to give it as much airtime as possible. It does look quite good, actually. It looks like it could be like a little Star Wars trading card thing there, maybe. But yeah, shout out to my wife for making that. But you're right, TJ. Great game for OG, who's been great all postseason. Quite frankly, he came into tonight's game, did OG, scoring 19 points per game on 56% shooting from the floor and 48% shooting from the three-point line. He's been on one, and he is an elite defender. He finished 10th in Defensive Player of the Year voting this season, was second-team All-NBA defense. I thought easily could have been a first-team nod, but he's been terrific in this postseason. All right, we've got Will N8664 is up next. Or I should say, again, welcome back into you, Will N. Appreciate you so much for spending time with us here. Again, as always, Gary, can you read us this question or comment from Will?
Brunson was playing too much ISO hero ball. For some reason, Mike Brown phased out Cat from being the primary ball handler, which is strange.
Yeah, I mean, whatever they did, Cat definitely wasn't in as much action tonight, and it showed. 4 of 10 from the field, 11 points. He was still a +6, which is still, look, I mean, as great as OG was tonight, -3. Josh Hart -7. Jalen Brunson -9. Mitchell Robinson -13. Landry Shamet -20. I mean, +6 is still one of the tops on this team. You had him and Bridges were the best two in the starting lineup. Bridges was +11. And then Jordan Clarkson was +8. So he was the third best plus-minus on the team still, even with only 11 points on 4 of 10. But yeah, you got to get him involved in more. You just have to. You have to get him going and really gas him up and hope his defense comes to life again against Victor Wembanyama in Game 4. Whatever you have to do, you got to run stuff through Cat, I think, early on. Feed Big Purr on Wednesday if you want a 3-1 lead, New York Knicks. All right, Darth Cairns is back in with his Dylan Brooks aura. Ever since watching Skap, I find myself using his us impression when someone messes up my fast food order or a coworker messes up a task or etc. As well, you should, Darth. I'm glad that you can utilize that. I think it's one of the best things you could say, honestly, in the world, which is why I say it so many times. So please, from me to you, you're welcome. Just use it as much and as frequently as you possibly can at every stage of your life. I know I do. All right. Oh, and Darth, back to back. What is up, my friend? Welcome back in. Back to back comments here. Thank you, sir. Don't let this Spurs victory tonight distract us from the fact that Halliburton and Trae Young are the Knicks' daddies. Well, yeah, that certainly did. Well, the Trae Young thing was wild. I remember the Knicks fans coming out and just absolutely, like, the fans leaving the arenas absolutely talking the massivest of shit on Trae Young. It was so funny. I still remember some of the drops and some of the audio that was playing about some of the things they were saying about Trae Young. Hilarious. And then, last year, the Knicks were one of the ones that got Halliburton. One of those thrilling, last second kind of walk-off moments. I think he did that was when he did, I mean, he had so many, but I think that was when he did in the Garden was when he did the Reggie Miller homage, the choke sign when he got him. I think it was in game 1. Then they stole game 2 as well. And it was basically a wrap at that point, right? Exactly what the Knicks did to the Spurs in this series. The Pacers got games 1 and 2 in New York in the East Finals last year. They, though, went home to Indiana and won game 3, I'm pretty sure. Then the Knicks staved off elimination in game 4, won game 5. The Pacers came back home in game 6 and closed it out. So that's obviously the blueprint that the Knicks are going to be trying to run off of now that they've lost the game finally for the first time in like 6 weeks. All right, we've got Jay Savage, 8295 is back in. What's up, Jay? Welcome in, my namesake. Always great to have you here, my friend. Wemby was also playing dirty. The refs sad for this. So, I mean, I guess, Jay, if you say so. If you say so, that's what you think, obviously. I think I will say this. Oftentimes, the team that plays with more desperation is usually the team that plays with more physicality, is usually the team that gets more of the calls. So tonight, the Spurs were essentially, look, I know the Knicks want this bad. I know they haven't been there in 27 years. I know they haven't won it in 53 years. I know they're playing at home in front of a massive sellout arena who have spent probably close to $1 billion collectively for the 19,000 seats that they're sitting in. I know it. I know that the Knicks want to win and go and sweep them and win in game 4. But look, the Spurs were like a wounded animal, like backed into a corner, fighting viciously for their lives in this game. That's essentially like there's an extra level you go to, I feel like, when you're like really fighting for your lives and like when you're basically just trying to live for one more day, which is what the Spurs were trying to do to earn the right to keep the series going, and I think they had an extra level of tenacity and physicality in this game, which translated to them just getting more calls. That would be my initial take of what I saw tonight. But if you're a Knicks fan, you probably think you got screwed and you got terrible calls. So I get it. Beanie is back. Beanie0191. What's up, Beanie? I'm so drunk. My prior super chat shouting out the mods was intended for a different live stream, but hey, maybe the mods here are cool too, LOL. Beanie O, am I reading this right? You're watching 2 concurrent live streams? That's wild to me. Thank you for at least having one of them be Skap Live After Dark. I appreciate it. And thank you for a second super chat to clarify that you were in fact talking about another live stream where I guess there are multiple moderators, plural. We, of course, only have one. And despite the fact, Beanie O, you meant that one for a separate live stream, I will still stand behind my specific shout out to our one moderator, Gary here. But thank you, Beanie O, and thanks for being drunk, too. I appreciate that. Mark Law 13 is up again. What's up, Mark? Why do you say Wemby was versus NYK when he has the same help? Because I don't think it's the same, really. I think Wemby, look, in like 2 or 3 years, it will be the same. But the players, on the Spurs just aren't playing as well as the players on the Knicks. Still, they're not, in my estimation. Like, still, like, if I say that because it's not a star versus star. It's not Jalen Brunson versus Victor Wembanyama. Because, quite frankly, Jalen Brunson is playing like ass in this series. He's playing like just hot, straight ass. He shot 34% coming into this night tonight. 34. He shot 46 tonight, so he's still under 40. He's still far under 40%. He still is one of the worst impact players on the floor for either team. He had the worst plus-minus on the floor last game. He simply isn't good right now in this series, Jalen Brunson. I'm sorry. He's just not. I love Jalen Brunson. I root for him. I love the connection to Kobe. I would not hate seeing him win the Finals MVP, though. I think it should have been Karl Anthony Towns coming in tonight. Hard to make the case now. But I still don't think Jalen Brunson is like a Finals MVP right now, and yet he's up 2-1 in the series because his other teams are playing, or his other players are playing so great. Because Karl Anthony Towns was the best player on this team for 2 straight games, and because to me, OG Anunoby was the best player tonight. So, like, that's why I say that it's all about the Knicks collective, whereas it's just Wemby. Because Wemby didn't play well in 2 games. So what happened? He lost both games. Like, Jalen Brunson played like ass in 2 games on the road and won both. Wemby has to be great for them to win. He does. He just does. So, and he was tonight. And even as great as he was tonight, it's still like barely won. Still, they got a 4-point win, and they were up by only 2 with like 9 seconds left. So, like, it still was a tight, puckering butthole of a game for the Spurs, even despite the excellence of Victor Wembanyama. Jalen Brunson hasn't been close to excellent, and he's still 2-1. He's one good 48-minute session away from being up basically 3-1 and ending the series. And he's played really lousy, in my estimation. Wemby can't get away with it. Jokic can't get away with it. Shea can get away with it. See, that's why I'm saying, like, some guys have more of a burden. Cade Cunningham can't get away with it, right? Like, there's some dudes that are just those dudes, and if they stink, they lose, period. Like, there's no one bailing them out. And Wemby right now is one of those guys. Maybe he won't be in like 2 or 3 years as these guys age, mature, get better, play more reliably consistent. And when they fill out, when they get like the power forward, the 4 that Gary's been talking about all playoff run, maybe then. But right now is not that time. 26 Mr. WrestleMania is in next. And I should say he's in again. I believe I read one of his to start off the chat or start off the comments, even though it was like the 29th comment or something at the time, but I saw it flashing by me, so I put it up. The MJ 22 greater than Kobe 22. But 26 Mr. WrestleMania with this comment agrees with you, Gary. They're up 8 late in the 4th, and they're going for home run 3-pointers when a single 2-pointer is good enough. Yeah, I mean, especially, look, I look at like the final 4 minutes. That I call the final 4 minutes winning time. Right. So like during the NFL season, I watched a lot of Red Zone, and the host, Scott, whatever his name is, calls it the witching hour when we hit the fourth quarters in the 1 p.m. games. I call the last 4 minutes in an NBA game winning time. If you're up by like 10 with 4 minutes, now I know 8 isn't quite 10, but if you're up 10 with 4 minutes left, you should never lose a game. Like in my opinion, an NBA team should never lose a game. They're up 10 with 4 minutes to go. Because basically, if you just execute every play, you don't turn the ball over, no live ball turnovers, don't foul the other team and give them scores with stoppages. And if you just execute offense and get good baskets, get good looks for 2s, like there's just no way you should lose that game. So like, up 8 with whatever, 3 minutes to go, like just go to the basket. Like if you go to the basket, you're going to get a layup, get fouled. Like there's good things primarily that are going to happen for you if you get going downhill towards the basket, especially with a 7'6" guy on the floor who was very active around the basket tonight. So I wasn't enamored with the 3-point shootout going on late either. I'm with you, 26, Mr. WrestleMania and Gary. All right, we've got Darth Cairns back in, still sporting that Dylan Brooks aura. Gary, I'll turn this one over to you. It's a little bit lengthier. I'll rest the vocal cords for one here.
All right, he says, what does Skap think or react when seeing some of these NBA players wearing ridiculous outfits on their way to the game? Which was the worst outfit? I'll tell you, the best outfit was Bismarck. What's his
Biombo.
The guy on the Spurs. Yeah,
Bismarck
that
Biombo.
That guy wears like fitted suits. Like the guy doesn't play in the games, but he wins the hottest dress outfit coming into the games.
Yeah, Darth, let me reiterate my point. I really do not watch any pregame, postgame, or halftime shows or commentary at all. I do, however, see on social media, I will see some things that people wear into games. And I can do nothing but just shake my head at this point with some of the stuff I see. The worst, look, probably the worst outfit goes to the entire Oklahoma City Thunder team. Like, have you seen the shit those guys wear? Like on the sidelines if they're not playing, what they wear into the games. Like, it's a damn fashion like catwalk show or some shit. Like a Paris fashion catwalk every time the Oklahoma City Thunder players walk in through the building to get to the locker room. So I would probably say all of them. Shea is famous for wearing different like fur coats and stuff on the way in and other ridiculous outfits. So maybe I would say like Shea specifically, but honestly, I think Jalen Williams, J-Dub on that same team is worse. I saw he didn't play in one of the games in these playoffs, and I think he had pink bell bottoms on and a blouse. So I would say J-Dub would be the worst. But good question, Darth. We will go back to back with Darth because I already read that 26 Mr. WrestleMania one earlier. So back to back, Darth Cairns. What's up? Welcome back in, my friend. Were the Knicks in the 2010s in the Carmelo era us? Or was it just the style of play of Carmelo that held the Knicks back? I kind of want to check the Carmelo Anthony. He was like, I would say this. He was an elite scorer when he was at the Knicks. He went there when he was 26. And he got traded when he was 26. And he played there till he was 32. So he played nearly 500 games. 25 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. I'm sorry, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 25, 7, and 3. Not too shabby. He had 1 year. He led the NBA in scoring in 2012-2013 with 28.7 points per game. Finished MVP 3 that year. So let's see what they did that year. 2013 NBA playoffs. That was Melo's best year by far. He was. He only finished top 15 in MVP voting once in his tenure in the Knicks. Otherwise, he was 15th in MVP voting the next year. So he finished 3rd in MVP voting in 2012-2013 while leading the NBA in scoring. By far, his best season. Yes, so that was 2012-2013. The New York Knicks, 54-28. They were the 2 seed in the NBA playoffs that year. The 2 seed. So the Miami Heat, that was obviously a Miami Heatles year that they won the NBA championship that year. They had the best record in the East, 66 wins, actually the best record in the NBA. But what did, in fact, the Knicks as the 2 seed, what did they do that season? Well, they beat the Boston Celtics in the first round. They then lost in the second round in 6 to the Indiana Pacers, who took the Heat 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that would be, of course, that Indiana team was the team with Lance Stevenson and Paul George on it. The team that where Lance Stevenson was blowing in LeBron's ear on the free throw line that one time? Yeah, that was that team. And of course, PG3 or when Paul George was not barfing on himself in playoffs and podcasting during every game. That was back when Paul George was good at basketball. So no, I'd say no shame in losing that series, honestly, in 6. The Wizard of Ice. What's up? I love that. I know you've been in before. I love that. Love the handle. The Wizard of Ice. Just trying to help you guys buy finals tickets. Thank you very much, Wizard of Ice. I appreciate the kind and generous donation and the support to get Skap Attack and Gary 828 courtside in the Garden on Wednesday. We'll see. We're a little bit shy of our goal right now, but we'll see. We still got some time here. Only an hour and 44 in right now. All right, Darth Cairns has just peppered this this sponsor area tonight in the Skap Live After Dark. Thank you for your like 8th or 9th of these comments. I appreciate you. Go ahead, Gary. I'll turn this one over to you.
Can Skap describe how the Pittsburgh fan base would be if, let's say, Pittsburgh got added to the expansion and made it to the finals?
Pittsburgh is a very good fan base. They're very loyal and a very, very, very good fan base. They, I will say this, though. They can only take so much. They can only be beat down so much. Like, they stick with the Steelers no matter what. Haven't won a playoff game in like nearly a decade. Doesn't matter. That stadium sold out, crazed fans every weekend. They love their Pittsburgh Steelers. Love the Penguins. I don't think the Penguins have won a playoff series now in like 8 or 9 years. Still love the Penguins. The Pirates, like my dad, if he's watching, I'm sure he is, if he's awake, big Pirates fan. One of my best friends on earth, Ryan, he's not watching. Shout out Ryan Capcara. He is a huge Pirates fan too. So basically, like my dad and Ryan are the only two people I personally know that are still subjecting themselves to the humiliation and the suffering of being a Pittsburgh Pirates fan after really not being competitive for like 35 years. Though they are in wild card hunt right now. I think they are in possession of a wild card spot right now. So I'm sure the city will come alive for them. So if Pittsburgh got an NBA team and if they got into the finals, the fan base would really get behind them, support them, be out in full force for them. If they had an NBA team that was lousy, probably not much support, unfortunately, because Pittsburgh, I grew up there. I was one of like 6 NBA fans in the entire city. So they're not really that big into NBA. But if they got a team and they were good, they would definitely get behind them for sure. Will N8664 is back in. Again, welcome back in. Will, we need to have David Stern's ghost possess Adam Silver's body again, like in the Spurs Thunder series, and just have it just an evenly called series for both teams. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are disliking. Maybe, look, guys, for you, I'm going to have to bite the bullet, put on the volume next time, pay closer attention to the officiating, and I will, because I'm prone when I don't have the volume on, like I'm prone to kind of zone out towards the end of the whistle, like when the whistle is like, so what I will watch the entire game with the volume on and subject myself to the heinous broadcasters, whatever scrubs they have calling the next game. I will subject myself to that for you guys so I can, in fact, confirm or deny that the officiating is indeed hot ass, which is what you guys keep telling me by and large that it was. Ruthless Raider 78. Oh boy, I haven't got to read a good Ruthless Raider in a while. Thank you, Ruthless Raider, for coming back and thrilling us with another one of these great posts. I can't wait to read this. Will LaHershey Squirt join the other elderly in Golden State? Well, that's a great question, Ruthless Raider. I actually did a video on this, a live stream. This is the one that I did on Sunday in the afternoon when Gary was not going to be available. So I did it solo. Actually, I had My wife was the moderator. You guys didn't know that. I just said I had another moderator, but actually my wife was moderating that stream. So, and she was not happy. I can tell you that. Whenever I finished, she was like, 2 hours? You were on for 2 hours? I was like, oh boy. Gary and I are on for like 3, 4, 5 hours. But
what wasn't she happy about?
Just that it was long. Just that it went long. Like it went on for 2 hours. But no, she was happy to help me out. She was happy to do it. But yes, the primary topic of conversation, Ruthless, was LeBron heading to Golden State. So I talked primarily, look, not the whole 2 hours, but probably like a full hour of the 2 hours is devoted to me discussing that. So if you really want to hear me break it down, you can go check out that live stream. But for purposes of this question on this stream, I don't think so. I really don't. I think it's LA or Cleveland or retirement, and I don't think he's retiring. So it's LA or Cleveland, in my opinion. But Golden State would be, to me, like a distant third option. Whereas, like, I don't know why he would choose if they decide they don't want him in LA, which that's the only way he doesn't go back to the Lakers, in my opinion. If they flat out say, we don't want you back and we're not paying you. If that's the case, I don't understand why he wouldn't just call Cleveland and be like, look, dump Harden, bring me in, get one other piece, and we'll go in the weaker Eastern Conference. We'll get to the Eastern Conference Finals again. At worst, maybe get to the NBA Finals. I don't know why he wouldn't do that versus, hey, let me go join 39-year-old Steph Curry, 37-year-old Jimmy Butler coming off an ACL injury, 37-year-old Draymond Green. Like, that is literally the all geriatric crew. Or as I was talking to my mom today, and she said it's the over the hill gang or the over the hill team. So that, like, I don't know why you would do that, where any one of those guys could get hurt any second next year, or several of them can. And even if they're all 100% healthy at nearing 40, all, like, by far would be the oldest team of starters I've ever seen. Probably by far the oldest starters ever constructed, by like 2 or 3 years more than likely. And then dump yourself in the middle of a Western Conference that has the Thunder that will be better, the Spurs that will be better. The Nuggets, the damn sure better be better. They better do something this summer to get better. The Houston Rockets, who might be better. The Minnesota Timberwolves, who will be healthier and better. Like, why would you do that? The Lakers, who, if you get rid of LeBron, you can build around Luka and Reeves, and they'll be better. Like, why would you do that to yourself if you're LeBron James, other than to just provide storylines, talking points, and 82 videos, at least in the regular season, for me and people of my ilk to make? I don't understand why else he would be incentivized to go there. However, Steph Curry, the baby-faced recruiter, is going to be taking his sales pitch to LeBron. That is, according to sources close to Steph, that he is going to be throwing his best sales pitch at LeBron over the next week or two to try to get him to come. So I'm saying there's a chance. I don't think it's likely or probable, but there is a chance. All right, next in, John O'Ratcliffe again. What's up, John? Welcome back in, my friend. I appreciate you. As good as the NBA Finals have been, they still pale in comparison to what Lord Stanley has anointed us with. We are not worthy of the greatness that hockey gives us. Canada sucks donkey ass. Well, that's conflicting, John, because Canada gave us hockey. So you can't hate on the country that created it and gave it to us, and who the greatest of players predominantly are from there. But yes, I agree. The finals have been on one so far. Gary, have you watched any of the NHL finals games by any chance?
No, I haven't. I know that it's the Hurricanes and Golden Knights. I hate that they overlap with the NBA, because what I always complain about, that in July and August, we have nothing to do with sports fans. All there is baseball. So now we've got NHL, NBA playoffs. Now we're going to overlap with World Cup, and the French Open in tennis just concluded last week. So why do we have everything going on simultaneously and then we have a lapse for like 6 to 8 weeks with nothing other than baseball? I hate it. So no, I haven't got a chance to watch it because I've been so consumed with the NBA playoffs.
Well, luckily, Gary, they haven't been overlapping much. So like they've been like on off days of the NBA. So like
what I mean, I'm sorry. What I mean is I'm constantly watching YouTube and I'm watching coverage and analysis of the NBA finals. So I don't want to watch an NHL game because I'm watching and learning about the series. So, but if it was in July, I could get locked into the NHL finals or playoffs in general.
So yeah, so game one was game one was 4-3, a thriller, obviously. Sorry, I want to get all the scores right because it has been, to John's point, it has been crazy. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. 5-4 was game one. So the Knights, the Golden Knights won 5-4 in game one. Game two was a 4-3 overtime win. The Hurricanes won there. Then game three, the Knights won in double overtime, 5-4, and that game was insanity. It really was the last game. The Knights were up 4-0 at the end of the second period. 4-0. Then they give up 4 unanswered goals to the Hurricanes in the third to force overtime. Then it goes 2 overtimes, and the Knights end up pulling it out. So they are up now 2-1 with game 4 will be tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So, yeah, I will be tuning into that one. The NHL playoffs have been on one for sure, and this specifically the Stanley Cup playoffs. Great call there, John. Though you got to give a tip of the cap to Canada, though. You just have to. Go ahead, Gary.
I was just going to clarify to John. I really do like hockey, though. It's kind of hard for me to follow on TV. I can hardly see the puck. I know people may laugh at me for that, but it's hard for me to follow because I can hardly see the puck. I remember they used to put a graphic that used to follow the puck. I could watch it a lot easier. John, I don't want to traumatize you or anything, but the last hockey game I remember watching was like 2, maybe 3 years ago. After the Bruins were up 3-1 in I believe it's the first round against the Florida Panthers. And Florida took it to game 7 and then won game 7 in overtime. I'm sorry for your loss, John. And I think Florida went on to win the Stanley Cup that year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Florida. So like Florida and Tampa, obviously, Gary, we both live in Florida. And Florida and Tampa has won 2 recently, and Florida has won 1. So yeah, it's crazy. Canada can't seem to ever win, and then you got a bunch of Florida teams winning Stanley Cups. It's crazy. And now Vegas is in there. That Vegas has only been in existence for 9 years overall. This is their 3rd Stanley Cup Finals in 9 years. And if they win, this will be their 2nd win, which is just crazy that of all the teams that have been around forever and playing hockey that haven't won in forever, now this expansion team that's not even a decade old is about to win their 2nd Stanley Cup, maybe. So it will be interesting to see the rest of that series play out. Xavier DeGod, meanwhile, is back in Skap. Could you record for yourself in the class videos? Or wait, Skap, you couldn't record for yourself? No, I don't think so. I'm sure they wouldn't want me to have the complete control of all of that footage. And I did sign, I signed something over. I signed several things while I was there. And it's, I got there at 9. We started filming probably around 10:30. We shot till like 1. Like we shot for like a long time. Then I had to run out to try to get to my flight. If you guys remember, I came back. It was on the night of, I think, a Knicks Cavs game. I was watching the game on my phone, driving home like in a torrential downpour from the Tampa airport. And then I went on live, basically walked in the door and went live immediately. But it's a very busy day. I obviously can't sit there and review everything in the paperwork or whatever that I'm signing. So I probably, I don't want to be overly critical or harsh about what I'm saying. One, because I don't know that I should or could be critical or harsh about what I'm saying. So I don't want to tiptoe the line. Also, I like the relationship. I'm happy this was the second one. I think they're very satisfied with my work. The Kobe one turned out very well. It was like the 7th best video. Last I checked, out of their like couple hundred videos on their platform. So they obviously wanted to have me back. They built a video basically around me, essentially, because I'm most known for the LeBron thing. I'm looking at it right now. It's at 101,000 views right now. This video is like the 8th most hyped sports video on this platform now. So I'm sure they're satisfied with the way the video turned out and my work. And I would like to continue and further the relationship. And I understand that I don't have creative control or rights over anything. So if I go and do another video or whatever, I have to go knowing and understanding that. And I knew and understood that when I went for the first two. It's just the way the Kobe one was cut, they left in a lot of my good points, and it seemed like they didn't in the Jordan one. So I was just a little annoyed by it, but whatever. It was still a great experience. I like working with those guys. And the video, look, whether it makes me look as good as it could, the video overall I thought was very engaging and entertaining and watchable, which is likely all they were going for. So
I think it should be longer. Honestly,
definitely
you would
could have
think
been
that
longer.
an hour and 15 minutes would be sufficient. But like I said, when I watched it, I was just like, that felt like it ended abruptly, and it felt very choppy to me. And I thought that, I didn't know what you just said, that they cut out parts of yours. It's just something that crossed my mind.
All right, we've got the incorruptible in next. Le Scalper Gary checking in. As soon as the Spurs were shooting in penalty at 9-minute mark, I thought Spurs would win. Analytically, they're up 3-0 now. You could say that. You could say the Spurs have had pretty large leads in all 3 games. They were up like 14 in game 1. I think they were up near double digits in game 2. They were up double digits tonight. Like they've been up. They've looked like the better team through most of the series, in my opinion. I think the Knicks outplayed them through most of game 2, actually. But for the majority of the series to this point, the Spurs have been better. But it's just a matter of winning ultimately. The incorruptible. As we know, James Harden still thinks they won the Knicks series, even though they got swept 0-4. But it doesn't work like that, does it? All right, next thing we've got, I can't see the avatar. Gary, can you make out what that is? Is it LeBron hugging me?
I think it is.
And it's Jewish Skap loves LaBarbie. Interesting handle and interesting avatar. And then nothing involving that in the question or comment. Knicks prove the in-season tourney equals a chip. Well, maybe if they hold on and win, the in-season tournament will equal a chip for the first time in 3 years. This was the 3rd inaugural Adam Silver's Invitational in-season tournament. Whatever. What's it called, Gary? What do they actually call it? I'm not
sure.
I can't think of the technical name of it. I can't think of it now for the life of me. What it's actually called. Well, the NBA Cup, but what is it actually called? The Emirates in-season Cup.
Emirates is a brand. It's just
that's
brand.
The sponsor. That's who sponsored the Cup, Gary.
Right.
Yes. So it's the Emirates in-season NBA Cup. But if you remember, the Lakers won the first one. They then lost in 5 games in the first round of the playoffs to the Nuggets. The Milwaukee Bucks won the second one. They lost in the first round, I'm pretty certain, of the NBA playoffs. And now the Knicks won the third one, and they are actually rematching their opponent in the in-season tournament in the Spurs. And of course, the Knicks beat that Spurs in the Cup final. We'll see if they can get to 2 more wins now and beat the Spurs in the NBA Finals. All right, next in, Karthik Shankar. Welcome back to you, a regular, a good friend to the show, as always. It should be illegal to get Skap for free and ESPN for subscription. That debate against bronzexuals was elite. Well, thank you, Karthik. I appreciate that very much. Like I said, I would love to do it. I'm trying to piece together a Scap Attack show, a daily Monday through Friday live show for like a hot 90. And I think I might call it The Attack with Scap. I think that might be the name of the show. I'm just spitballing here, but I'm still trying to figure out times and all that shit. And also formats. I would probably like to have some people and guests on and stuff throughout the show. So maybe some debates or whatever, or conversations. We'll see what I can piece together. But yes, hopefully I can count on all of you guys to tune in and we can make that a big daily live show. I would like to get, a floor subscriber kind of following where I'm getting 1,000 or 2,000 would be my goal. Right now, basically, Gary, I don't know. What do you think? We've got like a floor at this point on these shows of like 500-ish would be the floor, and the ceiling would be like 1,300. I know we had like over 2,000 in one of them, but that was a special night. That was a special moment. We had like 2,200 that one night, but I would say typically like 500 to like 1,200-ish.
It's hard to gauge because the NBA playoffs are going on. So, right. Like I told you, during that time, you're going to get the most traffic. It's right. Better to gauge.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that we would apply that to a show. I'm saying
right.
In this show, in this late night
during the playoffs, live
stream, it's been like 500 to 1,200. So, I would like to build something like during a show daily all week long. Something I would like to build a following that's like that, or maybe even bigger than that if I can. But it will take several months to work up to that level, which I know, if not like a year or two. But that would be the goal if I would launch something like that. So, guys, stay tuned. I'll keep you posted. Xavier DeGod back in again. Next, you should do one Kobe versus I wish that's what it was. I did one Kobe fan versus 10 Kobe haters in the first video, but Kobe versus LeBron, a Kobe versus LeBron debate where I'm the one Kobe guy and LeBron, and it's LeBron. But that is not as easy. The Jordan LeBron debate is so easy. Like, it doesn't really, it's just such an easy one for me to win. Now the Kobe one is a much more nuanced conversation, and it's a much harder case for me to present. One that I easily can and would do. Of course, I did it for 3 hours against Gilbert Arenas. So I'm more than willing to do it and to undertake it. However, in that one, I might need to work into my contract some creative, some kind of creative sign up. Not that I would demand final edit cut, but I would need some kind of assurances that my points would not be diminished in that one, because that one will be a more difficult one for me to prove and win. So I would need that assurance going into that one, I think. BZ6, yet again, welcome in. Big Cat, aka Big Purr. No, see, it's Zesty Cat or Big Purr. Big Purr went back to Zesty Cat tonight. Yeah, BZ, you hate to see it. It's Clark Kent showed up tonight, not Superman, in terms of Karl Anthony Towns. So if they are going to punch back and regain control and momentum in this series on Wednesday, they're going to need Big Purr and not Zesty Cat. I agree with you 100%. All right, John O'Ratcliffe is back in again. Gary, 29 through 53, doesn't say Larry Bird was coming into a good situation under circumstances. That slanderous comment towards Bird won't be tolerated. Gary, do you want to speak to this from John O'Ratcliffe?
Well, when Bird and Magic came into the league, it was before my time. I started watching in 87, 88 then I closely started following in 1990, and that's when I became a Spurs fan. I know that when Magic went to the Lakers, Kareem was on the team, which is why I said he's in a good situation. I thought when Bird went to the Celtics, he was already with McHale and Parrish. Did McHale and Parrish come a year or two later? And if they did, that is still going into a good situation. It wasn't like he went a prolonged amount of years without any substantial help. So even if he did initially go in the first year without McHale and Parrish, it was soon after that he had those guys. So to my point, that is a good situation. It's better than a lot of guys who go into a like Jokic. What did he get? He got one consistent shooter in 2023 and won the championship. But other than that, he hasn't ever got any consistent help.
So Larry Bird, Gary, just to clean this up, yes, 29 and 53 in 1978-79. Then in 1979-1980, in Larry Bird's rookie year, they go 61 and 21. And he was the rookie of the year that season. Rookie of the year 1, All NBA 1, and MVP 4 in that first season. And they had the remaining stars were Tiny Archibald, Cedric Maxwell, Dave Cowens, and Chris Ford. So no, there was no Parrish, nor was there McHale, but some really, really good players, obviously. I mean, Cedric Maxwell is a really good player. Tiny Archibald, obviously, had several top 10 MVP finishes in his NBA tenure. And then Dave Cowens as well he is a league MVP. Like, he won league MVP. Like, he was more known in like the 70s. Obviously, he was getting kind of old. That was actually his final year, I believe, was Larry Bird's first year. But he was an elite player in the NBA during the 70s. Finished top 5 in league MVP 5 different times, including 1-1. So there were still some very good players on that team. However, to the credit of Larry Bird, those players were on the team the year before when they won 29 games. So Bird came in then and they win 61. Obviously, major credit to Larry Joe Bird, who then also had one of the greatest peaks in NBA. Bird is not in my top 5 all time. He's in my top 7. But his peak is definitely top 5. Like, to me, it's like Jordan, Kobe, Hakeem, and Bird are like the greatest peaks ever, with Jokic kind of coming up on that, you could say, with 6 top 2 finishes in league MVP for Jokic, equaling Larry Joe Bird, who had 6 top 2 finishes. And starting in 1980-81 and going through 82-83, he was second in MVP 3 straight years. Then starting in 83-84, running through 85-86, he won league MVP 3 straight seasons. So he finished top 2 in 6 consecutive years overall. He was 4th the year before that span started. Then he was 3rd and 2nd again the following 2 years. So top 4 in league MVP voting, like 9 straight years, like a crazy, dizzying peak of excellence by Larry Joe Bird. So please, John O'Ratcliffe, that's a signed Larry Bird thing right up there in the corner there. So you get no Larry Bird slander from me on this stream. I just want to make sure that we all know that. Fernally is in yet again. What's up, Fernally? Welcome back to you. I appreciate it. Gary, what's the question or comment, this generous donation from Fernally? I appreciate you. Gary, go ahead and read it for us.
Bronze Sexuals will say he was always the chosen one and top dog since day one. Yet somehow his greatest achievements, according to them, is how much of an underdog he is and almost won. Which one is it?
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic, isn't it? Like, it's pretty pathetic and look, LeBron's been a top 2 favorite in the NBA to win an NBA championship preseason, probably like 12 or 13 times at least out of his 23-year career. He's been top 2 to win preseason. Now, if he's not the favorite going into the actual NBA finals, that's his fault. Like, that's not his super team's fault because he's been on multiple super teams. He's surrounded himself with 8 different dudes who made a collective 17 All-Star appearances. So like he's had the amount of players and supporting casts that he has needed to win more than 4 times in 23 years. So like people always say, oh, well, Jordan was favored in all 6 finals. Yeah, because Jordan was just by far the best, most dominant player at his time. So he was just expected to win even if he didn't have the better team. I don't think the Bulls were a better team than the Phoenix Suns. I don't even know if the Bulls were better than the Jazz teams, those last 2. But they just won because Jordan was that good. Like, of course, LeBron shouldn't have won some of the finals, but he should have a better record than 4-10 or 4-6-10. If you put Kobe Bryant in all of the situations that LeBron James was in throughout the course of his playoff runs, Kobe would have won 6 or 7 of those titles. Like I totally, completely, and unequivocally believe that Kobe has 6 or 7 rings out of 10 appearances with LeBron's supporting cast and against LeBron's opponents. So like, why would I ever say that LeBron was above Kobe? Like, Kobe already faced harder competition than LeBron with less help and won more in fewer time, in a lesser amount of time. Of course, Kobe Bryant's better than LeBron. I don't even understand why it's a conversation, quite frankly. All right, Jewish Skap loves LaBarbie is back in again. LeGary is right. No changing your Spurs prediction. So, all right, so Jewish Skap loves LaBarbie, doesn't like my flip-flop. And we'll see. The flip-flop might come back to get me, honestly, because I picked the Spurs in 7 in the advance of this series. When Gary and I we did our pre-series prediction show, we both picked, and I made my pick first, actually, but Gary had his pick separately. It's not like he piggybacked my pick, but we both had Spurs in 7. But during that show, I made it pretty apparent that if the Knicks won game 1, I was going to flip-flop immediately and change my pick to Knicks in 6, which I did promptly following game 1. Now, look, Knicks
then why do we pick before the series starts instead of after game 1?
Well, if we do pick after game 1, then I would have picked Knicks in 6, obviously. But look, I'll say the Knicks in 6 still looks good to me because if they win tomorrow, they will win in 6. But if they lose on Wednesday, though, then I like Spurs in 7 is definitely firmly back in play. So the flip-flop will burn me, and I'll go down with my Knicks pick then at that point. But it will likely burn me if the Knicks do not capture game 4 on Wednesday, which I think they will. I think they will win that game, but we'll see. We'll see. The Spurs have been, like I said, they could have won any of these 3 games. More than likely, look, all of these games have been basically tied at some point or very close to tied in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, all of them. So more than likely that game on Wednesday is going to be tied or a 1-score game with 2 minutes to go as well. So we'll see whoever executes down the stretch, makes the big plays down the stretch on Wednesday night. That's who's going to win the series, in my opinion. All right, Xavier DeGod is back in with a hefty super chat. Thank you, Xavier. I appreciate your generous donation. Gary, what is the question or comment this time from Xavier?
Scott, you should make a top 10 greatest players to never win a ring. And a lot of the guys on the Clash video were younger, saying LeBron is the greatest athlete Skap's seen. Laughable stuff right there.
Yeah, it's I mean, look, I understand. First of all, that's a good point, Xavier. I've got this defensive video that I keep teasing that is coming, guys. I swear this top 15 best defenders ever is coming. I did the top 15 best Scorers ever. I have this top 15 best defensive players video or best defenders video. It's coming. But maybe I should do a top. Maybe I would expand to a top 15, or I'll look at the list and see how many great players there are that have never won a ring. And then that's a good idea, Xavier. Maybe perhaps I will produce that video in the off season. But yeah, look, I get it. It's tough to be one of the 10, I'm sure. I've only done those videos with them twice, and I've been the one guy. So like I'm in the chair, like I get as long to say whatever I want. Like I'm talking the whole time. When you get up there, if you're one of the 10 and you don't know when or if you'll get back up or whatever, and you just so badly, you're sitting there watching me make points for whatever amount of time, and you're just seething and you're so pissed and you just want to get up there and go off. And then you get up there. So then, yes, some of them often, many times come across as like a screaming jerk, like yelling at me, interrupting me, telling me what the best thing I've ever seen was. But look, I totally get it. Like if the roles were reversed, right? And I was like, let's say Gilbert Arenas was the one dude in the chair, like talking, just spitting shit. And like, I'm just fuming in the chair, like waiting. And then I run up there, like I'm probably not going to come across the best either. I'll give you an example. Connor, the guy I did the 2-hour video on my channel with, which I posted, it's gotten a pretty good amount of views. It's at like 28 or 29,000 views right now, which is a crazy amount of views for a 2-hour video on my channel. And he was actually the only one that was in both of these debates. He was in the Kobe one and the Jordan one. And in both debates, this dude came across like he was just the most insulting person probably in the panel. Like he was just screaming over me, cutting me off every single time. I could get nothing in. But then when we had a 2-hour conversation and we're just going back and forth and handing it off respectively to each other and not cutting each other off, like I made him aware of it at the beginning. Like, we'll go as long as it takes. We'll each make our points. Like, we won't cut or interrupt. And it was a great conversation, I thought. Like, some people, honestly, including Gary, were like, why? Like, that was a pretty tame conversation. And Gary's not the only one that reached out and had that, I guess you could say, criticism about it. They're like, Skap, like, you didn't go hard enough at him. Like where was the actual, like, fire, like, debate? But it's just because, like, we were both, not cutting we were just making our points, and kind of, it was just a friendly conversation, but he didn't come across that way when it was in the context of he's running up there for 3 minutes and there's 10 other people fighting to get time. Like, so I understand. Like, so I don't want to be too critical of these guys, Xavier. Like, I talked to them a bunch before and after. They're all nice guys and they're all good guys. And I wouldn't mind, like, I offered that I would have a conversation with them on my platform or theirs anytime. So like, maybe watch for more of me with some of these other guys coming up sometime soon. Go, Gary. Did you want to throw something in there?
No, I just, when he said LeBron won the hardest chip because he was in a war zone in 2020, I burst out laughing my tail off at that. And I was like, Skap, you got to call him out for that. Now, I was like, dude, why are you being so nice to him? But if I disagree with you, you start screaming at me. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, hold on. Why do I get all the smoke when this dude's over here saying LeBron was in a war zone? Because I actually watched the video and did a reaction on my own channel to it. So I was like, when he said that, I was laughing. I'm like, Skap. I was like, this dude screams at me if I disagree with him. Where's the same energy for this guy?
That was he referred to that as the bubble one, right?
Yeah, said war zone. I said, yeah, with everything going on in the world right now, and you want to sit there and insult.
Gary, that was such an outrageous comment. I literally just thought like it was just a joke. I honestly, like, if he would have said the 2016 ring was the hardest ring ever or the best ring ever, then I would have pushed back more specifically on that, because I think he would have been seriously trying to say that because of the 73-9 Warriors or whatever. But that 2020 ring was such a joke. And the fact that not only the bubble, but then you play the Heat in the finals, and the Heat they were compromised. Like Jimmy Butler had a sprained ankle. Goran Dragic was their second best player on that run. He played in only 2 of the 6 games. Bam Adebayo was hurt. He played in only 4 of the 6 games. And they still, as like an upper seed, still took them 6 with that really good team. Like, that was just such a joke of a comment. If he had tried saying 2016, I probably would have been more, I would have pushed back and fought with him more on that. But yeah, just to speak to the point of, like, I get that it's tough to come in like that in that setting as like one of the 10. Like, it's probably not hard. Like, I honestly, I probably wouldn't even do it. Like, I probably wouldn't agree to be one of the 10 unless it was maybe, say, against, I don't even know. I've already debated Gilbert Arenas. If it was maybe Nick Wright or something, I would maybe agree to be one of the 10 to get a piece of Nick Wright. Other than that, like, I probably would not agree to do that because it would just be too cram. I'd be trying to cram all my stuff in one thing, and it would just be too rushed, and like, I would just be too over the top probably. All right, 26 Mr. WrestleMania joins us again next. Kings versus Lakers 2002 is the worst officiating. Well, yeah, that's one of the ones people point to because of the guy's name, Tim Donaghy. I was going to say his name is probably going to escape me, but Tim Donaghy, who had alleged mob ties during his tenure while he was officiating in the NBA, and he allegedly impacted or influenced some games. Now that series was not one of them, not according to any of the investigations that took place, the federal probes or whatever, and the NBA investigations that took place into Tim Donaghy. However, Tim Donaghy did ref the game 6, I believe, in Staples Center for the Lakers. So that is one of the games, yes, that one of the points, the several NBA is rigged points that I've seen made over time throughout, and that's one of the ones that maybe I've referenced, or I said I've seen the cases made through time when I said that earlier in the show. BZ6 is back in. Skap, take that money. Well, BZ, thank you for supporting us, continuing to support us here. And if you're referring to the email that I mentioned that I got from Rich Paul offering me the 25 milli for the LeBron is GOAT videos, trust me, if he wires me 12 and a hook, you guys might be seeing me doing a LeBron is GOAT video coming up in the next couple days if I get so. But you guys will know, like, I'm telling you now, like, wink, wink, like, let the people know, like, Skap doesn't really believe that, obviously, but he's got 25 mil coming from Clutch. So, like, that would be a tough amount to turn down, I feel like. All right, I mentioned him earlier. I said he joins us from time to time in here. And even though he was busy at the Knicks game tonight, I saw him. They actually showed him on the telecast, which shocked me. I thought for sure they wouldn't show him in the arena, but they did. Donald Trump sitting next to Dolan in the box. So, but he still found time, as he typically does, to come and join us here on the live stream tonight. Skap Live After Dark welcomes in the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Welcome in, sir. Gary, what does Mr. President have to say in terms of a question or comment here?
He is indeed very busy because he attended the game at Madison Square Garden, then found the time to come in to the live stream and drop a generous chat here. Wemby is so soft. 80% of the time, he's outside the paint. Kareem weighs the same as Wemby. Luka greater than Brunson. Brunson greater than SGA. Harper greater than Cooper.
Yeah, I disagree with almost all of those. Well, and I do believe. Look, Wembanyama has to get closer to the paint. There's no doubt about it. He's got to get closer to the rim. He needs to initiate offense closer. Some of that, look, quite frankly, is coaching. Like, Mitch Johnson has to run action for him, set up plays, and get him closer rather than having him just lingering out at the 3-point line or catching outside like either the deep pinch post or behind the 3-point line. And look, he is an incomplete offensive package right now. Like, he's going to expand his game significantly over the next. Do you see this dude training in the offseason? He's training with like Navy SEALs and Shaolin monks and shit. Like he's obviously going to expand his game and get a good back to the basket post game. It's going to happen, and it's going to coincide with him gaining, probably 20 to 30 pounds over the next couple seasons. So there will come a time when he is in the paint more, and a lot more, I think. Luka definitely greater than Brunson. Brunson greater than SGA is a reach. We'll see. We'll talk if Brunson wins this championship and see how it goes the rest of the way for him. Because right now, Brunson's playing a pretty tiny SGA-like game right now through 3 games, in my opinion. And Cooper is greater than Harper. As much as I love Harper and as much as I respect the hell out of him and what he's shown to this point, he ain't Cooper Flag, I don't think. I still think Cooper Flag is going to be the best thing that comes out of that draft. And look, while Harper might be a perennial all-star and a perennial all-NBA caliber performer, I think Cooper Flag is going to be a perennial MVP candidate coming pretty soon. So I think he still is going to be better than Harper ultimately. All right, Isaac LYK is in next. Hi, Skap. I missed you. Loved seeing the HOH debate. Isaac, thank you very much. I missed you too. Thank you for being back. Thank you for always coming and supporting me here and in the videos, and for watching that HOH debate. I appreciate it. Guys, please keep watching and hyping that thing. Let's get it to as many views as we possibly can over the next week, and as many hype points as we possibly can over the next week. And guys, the 530 that are still here, we just went over the 2 hour and 30-minute mark. So, another late night here on Skap Live After Dark. I appreciate you 530 people still, 531, sorry, for still being here and supporting me and Gary here on our ongoing quest to just talk random shit about basketball late night. Samson, the current, is in now. Welcome back to you, Samson. I appreciate it. No way NBA wants Spurs to win over NYC Market. I mean, that's a good point, Samson, the current. Like, everybody who's complaining and whining and talking about the officiating was terrible tonight. I think it was bad in game 2. And I thought there were some bad calls tonight, but I didn't think it was egregious or glaringly bad for on the Knicks side. And Samson's right. Like, I think they probably would prefer the Knicks to win this series and to maybe be good for several years in a row and have the Knicks finally be a thing in the playoffs for a consistent amount of time. I think that probably would be the goal. But at the same time, sorry, Luna just stepped out and now she's stepping back in, I think. So, yes, I do believe they ultimately would like the Knicks to win the series. However, I think they would like to see the series go 6 or 7 games. So they're probably, look, if the Knicks won tonight, it would have been a 3-0. It would have been a wrap probably on Wednesday. It would have been 4-0 more than likely if they won tonight. So, look, I always thought the Spurs were going to get 1 in New York. I thought it would be tonight to make it a little more competitive. The Knicks, I think, in an absolute dogfight, will win game 4 in the Garden on Wednesday, take that 3-1 lead. Then the Spurs, I like them they might even blow the Knicks out on game 5 in San Antonio. I think they go and win game 5, stay alive, and then take it back for game 6, which to me would be the Knicks game 7. Like, they got to put everything they have into that to close it out in 6 at home. And they want to do it at home because if they got to go back to San Antonio in game 7, I don't think it's going to turn out very well for them. But that is a good point that you make, Samson, no doubt. All right, Jay is back in yet again. Jay, welcome back in, my friend, my namesake. I appreciate you. Gary, read me Jay's most recent comment, will you?
I don't want to see the Spurs win, so they won't be saying Wemby better than Jokic when he got all this help, and Jokic don't give Jokic this team.
So I'm conflicted both ways. Like I said, I really want both teams to win. I like both teams. I'll feel bad for whatever team ultimately loses in this series, which is very rare for me because typically I either love a team or a player or I absolutely despise a team or a player, and I'm just vehemently rooting against one team. In this series, it is very rare that I really have no strong feelings one way or the other. I really like both teams, wouldn't mind seeing either, will feel badly for whoever loses. But there is a little piece of me where, like, because of my battle with Whitlock about Brunson right now, and the fact that I'm seeing these idiotic Kobe refaces. Like, I saw this thing going trending of like Jalen Brunson with Kobe's face on him. So, like, I don't want people saying like Brunson is Kobe or whatever. Really, I don't want to see that going around out there in the interwebs. So there is a small part of me that's like, maybe I want the Spurs. But then I do believe that Wembanyama has a better team right now already than Nikola Jokic has ever had. And that's this raw, young version of this team. So, like, just imagine as this team matures and adds another piece as well, as Gary keeps pointing out at the power forward spot, like, it's going to be a significantly better team than Nikola Jokic has ever had. So, like, a part of me is feeling a little salty about the fact that Victor Wembanyama at 22 has a better team than Nikola Jokic has ever had at 31 now for him. And the fact that, quite frankly, Jokic busts Wemby's ass every time they play. Like, they've played 7 times. Jokic is 5-2. He's averaging like 37, 11, and 9 on him on like 55% shooting head-to-head against Victor Wembanyama. Like, Jokic is better than Wembanyama. So, like, it does annoy me that if Wemby wins this series with a better team than Jokic has ever had, people are just going to be like, oh, yeah, yep, Wemby has already passed up Nikola Jokic. So, like, yes, there is a Jay, I must admit. But I am conflicted because of the Brunson Kobe shit. But those are little pieces in the back of my petty mind, Jay. Like, by and large, I respect and love Wembanyama, and I wouldn't mind seeing him get this chip this early. And I respect and I really do like Jalen Brunson and the whole team. I really like Cat at this point. I really am feeling good about Cat, the redemption of Cat, the emergence of Big Purr. He's put aside the zesty Cat, and he's become the Big Purr he was born to be. That's another Lord of the Rings Return of the King reference there, guys, if you missed it the first time I made it a few shows ago. So I really do like and feel good about both teams ultimately, Jay. The real Donald Trump back in again. He must be, I don't know, getting back to Trump Tower or something like that in the traffic. Brunson flopped and injured his back. I don't think that was a flop, Mr. President. All due respect. I think you're wrong on that for sure. Stephon Castle is a bulldozer. That guy's like, I don't even know, like 6'6", like 225. That guy is rock solid. And he absolutely blew up Brunson. Like, I don't think that was a flop at all, but he did kind of look like he tweaked his back a little bit when he hit the ground. I would not call it a flop, though. Also, what are you doing, Mr. President? Like, aren't you a Knicks fan? Like, why are you calling your main guy a flopper? Like, shouldn't you be showing a little more support, Don? Come on. Get with it. All right, Stefan Piscano, a great friend of the show. Thank you very much, sir. As always, I appreciate the ongoing friendship here and the support that you always show me, on this show and as well as the videos and stuff. Obviously, your generous donations. Shout out to you as always, and shout out to Vacation Wealth Partners, guys. Look into them if you're looking to book some kind of a fancy and enjoyable trip. Please check out Vacation Wealth Partners. Stefan Piscano, welcome in. Gary, what's the question or comment from him?
All right. Shout out to punctuation. I do appreciate it when people use commas and periods. Skap Gary, after decades defending the legacies of greats like Kobe, dunk and Jokic that the media tried to destroy. How does it feel we might get to finally love a player the NBA media machine actually supports in Wemby?
It does feel good. I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like because Wemby's also got a really good team, not nowhere near as good as Brunson has it with the Knicks, I don't think, at this point yet. Give it another 2 or 3 years, and the Spurs will be the best team in the NBA. And quite frankly, I think they are better than the Knicks. They're just not playing better than the Knicks right now. The Knicks are playing outside of themselves. Like, I don't think the Knicks are ever going to be back. I think the Spurs will be back like almost every year, starting with next year. Go ahead, Gary.
The difference is that the Knicks have been together. They've gelled.
Right.
The Spurs are still raw and organic. So that's why.
Right. So, with all that said, it feels great to have a great player in Wemby, have a great team around him. Like, that's why I have no faith in the Nuggets, and I think they're going to lose every game and every series they go into. And it's a helpless feeling seeing a great like Nikola Jokic so underutilized because his front office has just put shit around him by and large and stuff that doesn't make sense. Even if there are some good players on there, it's a programmatic non-fit there. So even if there are good individual pieces, it doesn't work, the things that they've put together. So the fact that I'm seeing a guy in Wemby who's a great defender flanked by other great defenders, like, yeah, like I feel pretty invincible watching this team. Like, I felt like there was always a chance against the Thunder, and then they beat the Thunder. Whereas Jokic, who is still better than Wembanyama in my estimation, has no chance ever to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it feels good. And then on top of it, you're right. Not only does he have a good team, a good front office, good ownership around him, unlike Nikola Jokic, he's got the media machine that is already bending over backwards. Put him number 3 in MVP already. Gave him a unanimous Defensive Player of the Year award. I think he will be a home run MVP next year. I think he's going to just run away. It won't be unanimous, but I think he's going to run away with the MVP next year and win several of those. So yes, Stefan, great point. I typically am fighting for other people's legacies and stuff. Now, like Wembanyama it's just going to do its work for me. That's why I don't even really feel like I have to do much for Wemby. Like, I don't feel like I even have to do many videos or talk much about it. I make so many videos about Jokic and Kobe because I feel like they're marginalized and disrespected, whereas that simply is not the case with Victor Wembanyama. So it's like I don't even really feel the need to do it, but we'll see. I mean, people were kind of slandering him over the last 48 hours, so that's why I put that video up about him today defending him. So I got that one in. All right, we've got the Jupiter Knight is back into the show. Welcome in, Jupiter Knight. I appreciate it. Paul Rabin and LeBum, the two most loathed people. Go Spurs, go. Yeah, go Spurs, go. Jupiter Knight, hold 1 second, please. Am I missing something here, Gary? I'm not sure who Paul Rabin is.
I don't know who it is either. I tell you what, Jupiter, let me know in there. Go to the next one. Jupiter will hit me up. Jupiter knows me. So he's a fellow Spurs fan. Let me know in the regular chat who Paul Rabin is, and then we'll move back to this one.
I Googled Paul Rabin, and all I'm seeing is it's an obscure Marvel character that was in the Spider-Man storyline, but it's an obscure reference character. So I can't believe that's right. I can't believe that's right. I don't know. Let me know. I'm very intrigued now at who that might be.
I'll let you know.
Okay. But thank you nonetheless, Jupiter Knight. I appreciate you for coming in and supporting us here on Skap Live After Dark, as always. All right. Oh, Skap Jr.'s in. I haven't heard from my fake, alleged, illegitimate bastard son in a couple days, but Skap Jr. is back. Proud of how good my dad was in the HOH debate. Oh, well, thank you very much, kiddo. I appreciate that, Junior. I thank you so much for watching that for me. As I said earlier, I've talked about it a couple times. Please make sure again that you do keep watching, or at least letting it play, let it play in the background, so to speak, and get those hype points as well for me. And continue to comment if you don't mind, Junior. Let the world know how good Pops looked in that debate, if you don't mind. All right, next in we've got Mike Yet 13S. What's up, Mike Yet? Welcome into you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome to the sponsor area. Thank you for your kind and generous donation. Really do appreciate you very much. Gary, can you read the question or comment for us that accompanies this very generous donation?
Skap, I remember last month, people were saying this year's OKC destroys the 2016 Dubs, and now those people are all quiet. I know you don't like either, so just wanted to know what you think.
So you're asking me for the 73-9, that the 2015-2016 Warriors. So I assume the 2016 playoffs was the 73-9 team. Gary looks frozen. Gary, are you frozen? No? Okay. Yeah, you're good. I guess you were just taking a long sip there. Sorry, I thought you were frozen. So yes, so the 2016 playoffs, 73-9 Warriors. Yeah, I think, look, yes, they didn't get to the finals. Yes, they're not going to win an NBA championship. And no, the 2016 Warriors also didn't win an NBA championship. I think the Golden State Warriors were injured in the finals, which played a role. It factored in to them not winning that NBA championship ultimately. And guess what? The Oklahoma City Thunder were injured too this year. They didn't have All-NBA third team Jalen Williams available for most of the series against the Spurs. And in fact, he was All-NBA defensive second team last year. Yeah, that guy didn't play. I think he played maybe 2 games in the series, maybe an injury impacted third game where he barely played, but he was barely himself. You also had AJ Mitchell, who was an absolute beast in the Lakers series, who he also hardly played in that series. Let's just be real. If the Thunder were 100% healthy, they would have won the NBA championship this year. Luckily, they weren't. And I think they would also, yes, I think beat the 73-9 Golden State Warriors in a best-of-7 game series. Health for health, if both of those squads were completely healthy, this year's Thunder, that year's Warriors, I would take this year's Thunder to beat them in a 7-game series. All right, John O'Ratcliffe joins us again. John, a very generous night for you indeed. Thank you very much. So glad to have you off of those 7 consecutive double shifts that you were on, and appreciate you for your very generous donations here in the Skap Live sponsor area. Gary, go ahead and give me this most recent comment from him.
Since the Mavs are basically brain dead, how long before Cooper Flag is traded to the Spurs and finishes the rebuild? That would break the NBA entirely.
I don't think that's going to happen. I would be shocked if after all of the pushback, the negativity, the clowning that the Dallas Mavericks took and absorbed following that Luka Doncic trade, and somehow they fell ass backwards into a generational superstar in Cooper Flag, who posted really elite rookie numbers. Really elite. Like best of the best of this century. Like 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 4.5 assists on 47%. Those are elite as elite can be. They're, I think, a little better than LeBron's numbers. Now, LeBron's rookie year was in a much harder era than Cooper Flag's rookie year. But those numbers are essentially commensurate with like LeBron James and Luka Doncic, their rookie years, where LeBron and Luka both were like 25-5 in their rookie years. We saw the jump both those cats made in year 2. Both LeBron and Luka. Like LeBron was like 27-7-7 in year 2. Luka was like 27, 9, and 8 or something ridiculous in year 2. So like Cooper Flagg's making that kind of jump, and he is a way better defender, way better than LeBron or Luka at that age. So I do not think that they will be trading Cooper Flagg anytime soon. All right, Xavier DeGod is back in, and he says Skap was getting glazed by the LeBron fans too, LOL. Yes, it's true. If you guys watch the video, they only left one of the guys in. There were actually 2 guys that came up and were a little bit taken aback by my presence when they were sitting across from me about what a good-looking man I was. Look, I'm not putting words in their mouths, guys. Go watch the House of Highlights video. You could see for yourself. The one guy he went on about it, about my Hollywood jawline and my piercing eyes. And actually, someone else came up and concurred with that guy. They cut that one out. Thankfully, I did tell them, do not cut that out when the one guy was glazing me. Shout out to him. And they left it in, thankfully. The second guy that came up and was like, damn, they're right. You're a good-looking man when I'm sitting up here. So yes, I can't make it up, Xavier. It's in the video. You're right. I was getting glazed by the LeBron fans too. You're right. We've got _QF. What's up? Yeah. Welcome in. Appreciate it. Do you think Wemby will end up greater than LeBron? Probably. Yeah, I do. First of all, I don't think LeBron is top 2. I don't have him Mount Rushmore. He's not top 5. I have him barely hanging on to the top 10. He's like 10th right now for me. And I think Jokic could surpass him. If Jokic wins one more ring, I'd need one more ring. If Jokic gets one more, I'd move him over LeBron. And then Wemby, look, if he's got a unanimous defensive player of the year, he's probably going to win like 5 or 6. The most any player has ever won defensive player of the year award is 4. I think he's going to win like 5 or 6. God, he would have had 3 straight. Well, okay, he didn't win the rookie year. He was runner-up, I think, rookie year. He would have had 2 straight already if he didn't have that deep vein thrombosis thing last year. So he would already have 2 at 22. So he's going to get 5 or 6. How many ever they want to give him before they get tired of giving it to him, he'll get. Then I think he'll probably get look, I'm going to undersell it. I think he'll get 3 MVPs. I think it could be more. I think he could get 4 or 5 easily. I think 3 is a legitimate target. Like, he will definitely get 3 to me. So let's say lower end defensive player of the years, 5. Let's say lower end MVPs, 3. If I'm not even thinking he's going to win this championship right now, I think he'll get 3 minimum. I think 3 low end. So if we go upper end, it would be like 6 defensive players, 5 MVPs, 5 championships. Like, though, that would be upper tier. I'm going lowest tier imaginable in my mind right now. What, like the lowest end of what I think he will do over his career. 3 titles, 3 finals MVPs, 5 defensive player of the year awards. Like, that's, to me, if he stays his whole career in San Antonio, that's a better career than LeBron James. I would have him above LeBron if he put that career down. Now, if he goes a little bit better than that low end or the upper end, then he's definitely better than LeBron. Like, if he goes the upper end, he's in the range of Mount Rushmore. And then if he exceeds my expectations of what I just mentioned on the ranges and the tiers, he's like top 2 probably. He's like it's like him and Jordan. So we'll see. And of course, this all is contingent on health. But everything I've seen of this kid to this point, at this stage, like, there's nothing that leads me to believe other than some fluke injury that derails his career completely. Like, there's nothing otherwise that leads me to believe, because he's got the intangibles too. He's a tremendous leader, the work ethic, the competitiveness. Like, there's literally, he lacks, like, there's nothing he doesn't have. So I can't see him not. He's like top 10 to me is kind of a foregone conclusion. Like, it sounds crazy to say a 22-year-old being top 10 is like almost a lock, but barring health, it kind of is to me. And that now, how much higher can he get? So now all the people that have been accusing me of Wemby glazing can come back in and say that I'm doing more glazing of Wemby. But guys, I just call it like I see it ultimately. Like, it's not like I don't hate or glaze. I just say it like I see it. So like, this is just what I'm seeing. And I don't like young players. Like, I go out of my way to like make them earn it. I don't want to say like I hate on or delegitimize what I see from young players, but I just say like, yo, I got to see more. Like, I can't just extrapolate this out. Like, no, they're not better than XYZ. I have to see more. But with Wemby, I feel like I've seen enough. Honestly, I really do. All right, we've got Mason PYFZQ is back into the show now. Welcome back to you, Mason. Thank you so much for being here as always. Gary, go ahead and read this latest negative officiating comment for us.
This officiating has been complete dog crap this entire series. It's series like this that ruin the integrity of the league.
So, like, look, I get it. Like, the bad calls against the Knicks last game, perceived bad calls against the Knicks again this game. I'll say maybe skewed Spurs. I wouldn't say it was terrible this, but whatever. 2 games skewing Spurs over Knicks in a row. Like, if it happens a 3rd game in a row to get it tied 2-2, and then the Knicks end up losing the series in 7, like, that could be, yes, I could see why people will have a very bad taste in their mouth regarding that and about another, rigged looking series. So I absolutely see where all you guys are coming from. And look, you've got my vow. I will be watching the next game with the volume on. I will be stringently examining every foul call. I will be able to intelligently talk about the specificity of the officiating next game 4 on Wednesday night in the Garden. So we'll see if the officials are on their best behavior or not. Okay, I'm going to take that one off. And it's not because I want to point this out. I will read the handle. It has nothing to do with politics or whichever way I skew politically, because I don't want to be accused of giving favoritism to the real Donald Trump handle that comes in here. So I will read the handle. Biden Joe 2028 was in next with a super chat. Thank you very much for your generous donation, Biden Joe 2028. And of course, as I am honored to have the current sitting president join us in the live stream, I am honored to have the former president in the live stream as well. Thank you very much, Mr. President, former president, for joining us. Biden Joe 2028, that's a bit of a reach for sure. But the reason I will not show your super chat is because you mention a word in there about a guy that owned a certain island that is a controversial figure, of which YouTube does not like that guy and that figure. And I don't want that guy's name being associated with my live stream. Someone else mentioned this person's name on a previous show we did a few days ago, and I also did not show that super chat either. So if you want to send another one and remove that guy's name, then I can put up I can put it up. But I can tell you this: Biden Joe is complaining that the crowd was asked because of Trump. I don't think that's the case, though. I will say that he was in a box. He's been in several boxes for football games. He's in all over UFC events and so forth. He's been a Knicks fan for a long time. He's attended a plethora of games over the years. He's lived in New York for most of his life. And look, that crowd, if it was ass, it's because the sellout ticket holders, the sellout season ticket holders, instead of keeping their tickets and going to support the team and be crazy, raucous, loud ass fans, Um, it's because they saw a payday and they saw an opportunity where they could snatch 10, 15, 20 per seat, and they got a little greedy with it, and they sold it. They sold out their seats for the payday, and then some rich person who wasn't going to be as loud and raucous as them came in and took their seats, and that's why your crowd was asinine. If the crowd really was ass, which it didn't look ass to me from watching on TV, but maybe you were there too, along with the current sitting president, Mr. Donald Trump. But like I said, Biden Joe, look here, I do have a strong political leaning. I don't make any excuses or disguise that in my regular life or on other people's platforms. But on this platform right here, my sports talk platform, I try to keep it as apolitical as possible. And certainly not any controversies like the one you tried to invoke in your super chat. Anyway, the great Bib Bob is in next. Welcome back in, the great Bib Bob, another regular contributor here on Skap Live After Dark. Shout out to you. Thanks so much, as always, for being here. Gary, can you give me the question or comment that the great Bib Bob has for us to go along with this generous donation?
Hey, Skap, my top 5 is very close to yours, but I have Magic over Kareem. How did he win only 1 ring in the of an era, the 70s? Kareem over Magic is longevity over peak. Magic 11 years and 5 rings.
Totally agree. Magic had a better peak. Bird had a better peak, for sure. I actually have Bird over Magic. I've got they're like 6 and 7 on my all-time list, I think, and I've got Bird at 6 and Magic at 7 or something like that. But Kareem is the one guy. I'm a peak guy. I've got guys with great peaks are very highly accounted for in my top 10. I've got Jordan 1, Kobe 2, Akeem 5. So those are great peaks. I have Duncan in my Mount Rushmore just because elite all-time two-way player who won 5 very challenging rings. So I feel like his accomplishments dictate that. And then while I don't have LeBron in my top 5 for his resume, to me, I feel like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's resume is so strong. It's just so stellar. 6 league MVPs, the most ever by any player. 1 more than Michael Jordan, 3 more than Magic Johnson. Top 3 in 3 standard box stat lines in rebounds, points, and blocks. He's been to 10 finals, won 6 of them. So, his resume is just too good, and an elite two-way player, mind you. There are only 3 players in NBA history who have been selected to at least 10 all-defensive selections and at least 10 all-NBA selections. Only 3 dudes ever have double dig in both all-NBA and all-defense: Kobe, Duncan, and Kareem. Another reason why all 3 of those guys are on my Mount Rushmore, because they are elite, like whole career two-way players. So, and they won a ton of championships. So like my Mount Rushmore, you asked Gary earlier, mine is Jordan, Kobe, Duncan, Kareem, because they all won at least 5 rings. So they were all upper echelon winners, and they were all elite two-way players. Again, the only 3 dudes ever that have 10 All-NBAs and 10 All-NBA defenses. And then Jordan, he only got 9 All-NBA defensives, but he is one of the only 3 players ever to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. So Jordan, elite two-way guy as well, obviously. And then the other guy, the other guy, Akeem Olajuwon, in not quite my Mount Rushmore, but makes my top 5, even though his peak is also better than Kareem's in my estimation. I think Hakeem is the best big ever in reality. I really do. Like, to me, Jokic is the best offensive big ever. Bill Russell is probably the best defensive big ever. Then Akeem is the second best offensive big ever. And Akeem is the second best defensive big ever. So he's the second best guy on both ends of the floor. Like, to me, Akeem has the best big peak, and he is the best big. So I realistically should not be a coward and just go with Kareem's resume and his 6 rings. And I should put my money where my mouth is and move Akeem up into my Mount Rushmore. So that maybe I will do that in sometime. I'm always, my top 10 is living and breathing, so it's always moving. Go ahead, Gary.
I just have a hard time putting Hakeem over. Putting Duncan over Hakeem.
Also fair.
So if you're going to move, you might move Hakeem and slide Duncan to 5.
Yeah, because while Duncan was such an elite defender, but like Hakeem and Kareem were also both elite defenders, but they were both much better to me offensively than Tim Duncan. So like I give them significant checks over Duncan because, Hakeem was just so elite in the paint. He was a wizard. His footwork was magical. And then Kareem had the sky hook, like the most unstoppable move in basketball history. So I feel like, yes, Gary, you make a compelling case that perhaps Duncan needs to be dropped out if I'm going to move. But then there's the curious case of Will Chamberlain as well, Gary, which is my most difficult player to rank, one that you have at 2 all time or 1B all time or whatever. And I always go back and forth on, I probably have him too low because he only had the 2 rings. And really, Nikola Jokic has made me rethink that and rethink him and his dominance because of how dominant Jokic is with only the 1 ring. So, and same with Hakeem with only the 2. So sometimes you just don't get blessed with good supporting cast, quite frankly. Okay, but great question, the great Bib Bob. I appreciate that very much. And I like your mount, obviously, very, very nicely, or your top 5. I like it a lot. All right, Mark Law 13 back in yet again with a follow-up. Gary, I'm going to turn this one over to you. We've been on, it's now 3 hours and 6 minutes in, guys. The vocals are getting a little heavy. It's almost time. I think it's feeling like bedtime. We're nearing 3 a.m. Where Gary and I are at. So we're going to wrap this up here shortly, but I will go through the remainder of these comments before I do. We still have a couple comments. So Gary, go ahead with Mark's most recent question or comment.
And we're about $399,700 short of the goal to get us to Madison Square Garden on Monday night. We're wrapping up soon, so if anyone wants to go ahead and donate $100K, please do so soon so that we can get our tickets in time. All right, so Mark Law says, oh, you got to go back. What? I don't know what's funny. I mean, we really want to go to Madison Square Garden, Maybe there'll be a game 6. Maybe we can go to that one instead.
Yeah, that'll be cheaper. Right. I'm sure that one will be cheaper, Gary. Yeah.
We may need like 800,000 instead of 400 for that one. All right. Mark Law says, to Gary and Jay, Kobe, Shaq, but soon it's Kawhi, Wemby. San Antonio three-peat with Kawhi winning 3 Finals MVP in a row. He leaves, Wemby wins 2. He leaves. This is why I ask you guys for punctuation. He leaves, period. Wemby wins 2 more like Kobe did for the Lakers, period.
Well, that would be something. If Kawhi goes back, I don't think Kawhi is going to go back to the Spurs. Like, it's still all, Gary, like, it's still all the same people that were there, basically, other than Pop, right? It's all the same people. And that was a bridge totally burned. He basically just sat out a year, essentially, because he was so over them and felt so wrong by their medical staff. And so betrayed by the team for not supporting him. And so he essentially, I mean, he basically forced his way out to go when they traded him to Toronto. So I don't see any way that bridge can be mended to send him back there. I think absolutely no, 0% Mark Law. That would be, to me, way more unlikely. I know LeBron went back to Cleveland after the fans burned his jersey and Dan Gilbert wrote a letter and said he's a coward and he should be cursed and never win before he comes back and makes it right. That as unlikely as a LeBron repairing with Cleveland looks, this would be even more unlikely to me. Like Kawhi was so adamantly over them and the whole like build, the whole like makeup of the organization. I don't think any way they can mend that fence at this point. But hey,
I don't even think that's the problem. The problem is his health. Why would we want someone who's always injured? That'd be like, are we going to give up assets to get Aaron Gordon? Why would you give up assets to get someone who's injured half the season and unreliable in the playoffs?
Right.
So, no, I think that's the main reason. If he was still doing well and wanted to come back and there was something that we could make a trade, it's possible they could reconcile that. But the problem is his health, I think.
Right. Both impediments, obviously. All right, Samson the Current is back in yet again. 7 games of this year's Chet Holmgren versus 2016 Draymond Green is a must-watch. Well, look, I think Chet Holmgren would fare much better against Draymond Green because his name isn't Victor Wembanyama. And because Draymond Green is Mr. Triple Single, and because Draymond Green is all of probably 6'8", and Chet Holmgren is 7'2" or 3", and Wembanyama is like 7'6". So like all of those factors to me would give Chet Holmgren the check mark for sure against Draymond Green. But and also Chet's he would have less responsibility. Draymond was kind of a facilitator and distributor in that, as well as anchoring the defense. Chet just basically has to anchor the defense, catch lobs, and shoot threes in the corner. So I think Chet would do very favorably, and he would probably draw Draymond Green out from the paint because he would be out in the corner. I honestly think this year at full health, this year's Thunder team would match up extraordinarily favorably against the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. I say that I would pick them in a 7-game series. I don't think it would go 7, maybe 5, possibly 6, but I would take the Thunder in that matchup. Xavier DeGaulle.
I thought he was asking for a one-on-one. Chet Holmgren versus Draymond.
Oh.
Who wins that? I think Chet would kill Draymond.
I would say Chet for sure. Chet's got a way better game. Draymond can't shoot. He can't dribble. And they're both good. They're both elite defensively. Look, Draymond won a Defensive Player of the Year. Chet was runner-up this year to Wemby. I got to figure out who made that call. Someone made a call. It was, oh God, I forget. I'm going to find it. Someone, a former NBA great, he's a color guy for the play-by-play for some local broadcast, maybe the Lakers. And someone dunked on Wembanyama during a regular season game. And the call was insane. The former NBA guy, former NBA stars call. He's like, Wemby, come get some. Like the call was incredible. So whenever I say or hear Wemby, I just hear his voice in my head saying Wemby. But yes, I would say Chet Holmgren takes this matchup for sure. And I would say if it's a 1-on-1 best of 7, Chet in 5. All right, yeah. Xavier DeGaulle is in yet again. Gary, I'll turn this one from Xavier over to you.
LeBron fans and some casuals don't know, understand, ignore, or are so delusional that only they have LeBron at 1 or 2, but no other NBA fans do.
Well, and you have to understand, like, a lot of the guys that I debated in the House of Highlights thing, like, they were like 25 or under, right? Or right around whatever, 27, 28. They were all 30 or under, I would guess. So, like, that means they were born like near the year 2000. Like they were born in like 98, 2000, 2005, 2006. Like how much have they realistically seen? Like LeBron's the only dude they've seen. Essentially, they're trying to decide who's the GOAT in their mind, Steph Curry or LeBron James. Like that's pretty much what they're considering or questioning. And I don't want to give them the pass though, because like I was born in the mid 80s. I didn't see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar play a single game, like ever. He's in my top Like, I didn't see Larry Bird or Magic Johnson play a single game ever, or Will Chamberlain. Like, they're in my top 10. So, like, I could have guys that are my, like, quite frankly, guys, I didn't even see Jordan. I saw Jordan's second three-peat. That's it. Like, I started watching basketball in the mid-90s. He was retired till 95, 96. I only saw really 3 years of Jordan and then the 2 Wizards years. But, like, I didn't see any.
So, Skap, get the hell out of here when you say, oh, I'm so old, everyone. I'm so old. I didn't even watch Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. I didn't even watch Joe Montana in the 80s. So you can't sit up here anymore and spew how old you are. I don't want to hear it.
Well, Gary, I am old. You're just even older. Like,
we're too old to play in the NBA, but we're not old.
I thought I was old. The first time I felt old was on my 25th birthday.
So, oh, yeah, that's so old. Oh, he died at 26. So it's a good thing he lived a nice, full life.
And I'll say this, Gary. I say that I felt old the first time at 25. I felt really old at 30. And when I hit 40, I felt like my world was ending. And that is coming from a guy who I have worked out 5 to 7 days a week for the last 25 years of my life. So I can't even imagine what people that aren't as fit as me feel like aging, quite frankly. So I am very fortunate in the fact that I am in great physical condition for my age, for my advanced age. And of course, as the House of Highlights guys would have, I am a very good looking man. Not to toot my own horn. I don't have to, because again, watch the House of Highlights video, watch the comments from them guys, see it for yourself. But yes, you're right, Xavier DeGod. They are delusional. There's no doubt. All right. I said professional wrestlers join us, and I forgot that Ric Flair. I'm so embarrassed that I did not say you by name earlier when I was talking about our star-studded live streams. When I mentioned wrestlers, I of course meant the great Ric Flair, the legend. Space Mountain, woo, joins us next. Gary, go ahead and read this question or comment from Rick.
Not sure how much you've talked about Dylan Harper tonight, but he sure doesn't play like a rookie. Preventing a fight in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals was a vet move.
Yeah, I've been high on Dylan Harper this whole postseason. Very high. I think the kid is an absolute stud, a budding superstar, and I'm not going to knock him for one bad game. He has had a masterpiece of a rookie season playoff run. Tonight, other than his, helping cooler heads prevail in that moment, his worst game in a while that he's played, the worst game he's played in a pretty long while. He played 32 minutes, had only 13 points on 5 of 18 shooting, and was a -8 tonight. He had the best plus minus for the Spurs, I think, in both games. I think in games 1 and 2, he had the best plus minus on the floor. So -8, not good. In a game they lost by 4, obviously. But I love Dylan Harper. I think he's a great, great young player. And I thought they should have started him tonight. I think I would still start him on Game 4. Like, I thought they should have tonight. Do it on Game 4. And take anybody out. Basically, other than Wemby or Castle, anybody, like, Harper's the 3rd best player on the team to me. Like, already. He's 20. He's a rookie. But to me, he's the 3rd best player on the team. Oh, Gary's saying 2nd best. He's saying better than even Castle already.
Offensively, which is what we need. Defensively, Castle. But Harper's
really
good
defensively too, though. He
is. But I mean, Castle is still better. He is good defensively, but Castle's like elite defensively.
Right.
But my thing is, I think he would have done better if they would, to your point and my point, what I told you before, start him, let him play heavy minutes. This boy is young. He's 20 years old. He can play 38 to 40 minutes. He'll get in a better flow and stop shooting 3-pointers unless you have a really good look. If you don't have a really good look, attack the basket, because he has been giving the Knicks the biggest problems of the entire Spurs offense when he attacks the basket. So keep doing that, and he'll get in a flow, and he'll fix his low percentage.
Fair. Yeah. No, I don't disagree with any of that. So, yeah, I think obviously, when Stephon Castle's like 21 right now, and Harper's 20. Like when those dudes, when those dudes and Wembanyama are 25 years old, it's the best. They have the best big three in the NBA. Like that to me, like that's the easy best big three. Like they're all going to be elite scorers to me, and they're all going to be elite defenders. Like it's just crazy, like how good those guys are going to be down the line. All right, we've got, like I said, star-studded. Joey B is back in. Again, Joey B 2028, that's a bit of a reach, I think. But anyway, Joey B himself is saying that he voted for the Dawn 3 times. So all 3 times, including presumptively the time he ran against him, he's saying he voted for the Dawn. So there you have it. I'm a hate watch C's fan. What do the Celtics need to get back the next few years? Okay, so you just basically hate the Knicks essentially at this point. I get it. I feel you. I think realistically, well, I'll leave you up there. That's not very controversial. I'd say you got to make a move this summer. You either make a huge splash and you trade away. I would keep Brown and trade Tatum. But that doesn't sound to be what you guys are moving in the direction of. There's a lot of discourse about trading. Go ahead, Gary.
They won't trade Tatum. Brown is not happy. Right. He's going to be the piece they're going to move. I agree. You know how I feel about Tatum.
I would like Brown
but they love Tatum because he's easy to get along with, whereas Jaylen Brown's is having problems with management. He looks to me like he's on his way out. So to your point, it looks like the no-brainer is him for Giannis, because who's Milwaukee going to get? Like, they're probably not going to get anybody close to him. So
and it sounds like the Giannis market is soured right now. Like there's not a whole lot of traction from what I'm hearing on the Giannis sweepstakes. So like if you go in with Jaylen Brown and like 3 or 4 first-round picks, like you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. So like look, Joey B, that is a stretch to suggest that Giannis will regain health and be the Giannis of old and not an old Giannis. But I feel like that's a swing. If you take it and you hit it, that's a championship probably. A front line of Tatum and Giannis with Derek White and like whatever. You got to get a big, like a center in there as well. But I mean, that's something you can do immediately to get back in the NBA Finals. Or hell, look, let's help each other. The Nuggets need to get some fresh pieces. You guys want some other. Look, how about Derek White for Aaron Gordon? Huh? What about that? Is that spicing things up for you? Huh? Now maybe Aaron Gordon plays 40 games in the regular season, but if he's available in the playoffs, I'm saying maybe there's a chance. Okay, Gary's shaking his head on that. What about just a Jaylen Brown for Jamal Murray straight up swap? What about that? Gary's giving the thumbs up on that. So there's a couple thoughts for you, Joey B. But I will say this: they got to do something. I think they got to make a move. It's not going to be Tatum presumptively. So it's going to be Derek White for like a lesser move, like a lesser kind of move, or Jaylen Brown for a swing. So like those are basically your 2 options. I would still I'd go in on Giannis, I think, ultimately at this point, if I were you guys. Justin Fletcher, 7'3" or 7630 is in next. Justin Fletcher, what's up to you, sir? Thank you so much for your back-to-back super chats here. Thank you. I do appreciate you for sliding into the sponsor area here. Gary, go ahead and read this first one from Justin for us, will you?
Thanks for being up to let me in on the breakdown when I get up for work. Y'all are lunatics.
Yeah, Justin, I'm not going to lie. Late nights, my friend. It is now, we are at the 3 hour and 23 mark of this specific show, which we are winding down I'm going to be signing off shortly here, guys. It just turned to 3 a.m. my time. So yes, I am tired. My poor little dog needs to go outside. But Justin, I'm glad that we can be here for you. Thank you so much, though, for being here for us and for joining us. And hopefully, if I do shift times to a different show time throughout the more reasonable hours for me, hopefully you can still find the show at times, join us live sometimes, or just watch it whenever you get a moment, whenever you're maybe driving home from work or something like that. We've got a PS from Justin Fletcher. PS Skap, that wall behind you should be draped in iconic MJ Kobe cards. I have one Kobe card right there and two others that my wife sent away for grading and for encasement. Two rookie Kobe cards, to be precise. But Justin, the back wall is going to be changing shortly. I'm going to change the whole setup, I think. I want to widen my shot out. Have more of me in the shot and a further out shot. There will be more things on the wall and selected more carefully. I will have some Michael Jordan stuff on there, probably some Brady stuff. Hopefully soon, guys, my silver play button plaque thingy from YouTube for attaining 100,000 subscribers. I'm about 3,500 away from doing that. So please get me over the hump if you can. So yes, the back wall will be changing sometime soonish, Justin. So stay tuned, obviously, for that. All right. And finally, last but certainly not least, Stefan Piscano back in yet again. Thank you so much, sir, again, for your ongoing continued support. I greatly appreciate you. Gary, what is this latest question or comment from him?
Sorry, I thought I was done super chatting, but I have to make us all feel even older. Skap, Gary, I realized recently I've now lived longer than both Kobe and Elvis, which means you two have two. P.S. R.I.P. Lester Banana? Is that a joke?
Well, we haven't seen Lester's Banana it's been a while. I mean, Lester's Banana.
I don't want to assume that he passed away, though.
Well, no, but like RIP in terms of him being coming in here to our live streams, because even if he's not super chatting, which is not obviously
he hasn't been in the live chat.
He's not been. I watch the live chats quite a lot. In addition, I mainly, honestly, am watching the live chats because I could jump over easily to get back to I can easily jump back and get back to the starred ones, whereas the live chats, I lose my place. So I am actually in the live chats a lot as well. And Lester was typically all over that live chat area, Gary. And he would consistently donate something and ask us to eat a banana, primarily me. And he was on every show last year. And now I think we've got a bigger, better following now at this point. I think our floor has risen this year over last year. And I don't think I've seen him once, maybe early on, but I haven't seen him since. So hopefully, Lester, you are alive and well, even if you aren't in here on the Skap Live After Dark, and hopefully you are thriving. And yes, Stefan, that does weigh on me. The fact that I am now older than Kobe Bryant was when he passed away. I do think about that often, and it is very odd to me, very odd indeed. The other thing I think about, Gary and Stefan, I think about my like athlete heroes or my actor heroes that I emulated and like aspired to be like when I was growing up. And I think about them in their like most iconic moments or whatever. Like one of my top 5 favorite movies ever. I can't say what my favorite movie is. It's too impossible. I can't. I simply can't. It's even hard for me to give a top 5. I usually can only go top 10. That's as close as I could whittle it down. But I am comfortable saying that the first Indiana Jones film, Raiders of the Lost Ark, is in my top 5. Like I'm comfortable saying it gets even above top 10. So like Tom Cruise was obviously one of my idols and heroes that I wanted to be like growing up. And so too was Harrison Ford. Those were like my two favorite actors growing up. The role that I saw that really turned me into a Tom Cruise fan was the first Mission film. So that was not Top Gun. I saw Top Gun after the first Mission film, actually. So the first Mission film, he was 33 years old in that movie. And then the Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, that he was, I believe Harrison Ford was 39 in that movie. So when I hit over 33 and over 39, that was also weighed on me in the back of my mind as well. Like, damn it. Like, I am getting super freaking old. And then another movie, Gary, that I told you to watch that is in my top 10 that I named a few weeks ago in my someone asked us the most underrated movie ever in our opinions. I said LA Confidential. I love the movie. A homage to like the noir style kind of classics of before, with a tremendous cast. Kim Basinger, Danny DeVito, and the three principals were Kevin Spacey, Guy Pearce, and Russell Crowe. And now at this point, I am older, and I saw that movie, came out like 96. I snuck in to see it in theaters. I had to go see like a PG movie. Like I went to buy tickets to like Inspector Gadget or something like that and snuck in to see LA Confidential. And so I was like, whatever, 13 years old when I saw it, or whatever it was, 12 or 13. And now I am nearly older even than Kevin Spacey in the movie. And I am already well older than Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe in that film. So like, and now I'm nearly older than Kevin Spacey as well. So barf, Gary, I am old. Don't tell me, don't pretend like I'm not
You
old.
haven't watched Joe Montana. You're not old. If you haven't watched Joe Montana play and Michael Jordan play in the 80s, then you're not old.
Well, I'm not as old as you, that's for sure. And at least I've got that going for me, Gary, which is nice.
I'm younger than you. I not in years, but in my heart, I am. I'm younger at heart than you.
Well,
I'm still a young man.
Not in physique either, Gary. I could tell you that much. I got my workout in today, as I said, 5 to 7 days a week for 25 straight years for me. I got my kettlebell workout in today, and with my wife is now working out with me too. So we were both getting our kettlebell workout in, and then what we've been doing the last couple workouts we've done together, dead sprints, like 3 to 5 dead sprints at the end of the workout, because I heard this thing that I've become obsessed with this talking about aging and getting old. Once you get over 35, it's either 1 or 5%, but it's very low. So 1 or 5% of people will sprint again after 35. So basically, like, once you turn 35 or older, 95% of all humans on Earth will never sprint ever again. So I make it a case to try to sprint as often as I possibly can. I try to limit my cardio because I'm a tough gainer. It's hard for me to keep weight on and stuff. So I try to limit my cardio, but I want to sprint, and I want to do hard shit every day physically to like keep my mind, as sharp as possible, or my, I guess, mind and body, whatever. Anyway, Justin Fletcher, 7630, back to back, very generous super chats to take us out. And I feel like this one is a duplicate, which I feel bad about. Hopefully there's a way he can recall that or something. I feel like there's two different, or are they different, Gary? I think they're the same.
I think he's just trying to say he appreciates you. He's saying, don't worry about reading it. He just want to say, I appreciate y'all.
Well, thank you. Because not only did he say, appreciate y'all, don't worry about reading this one. Not only did he say, don't even worry about reading it, he sent it twice. So very, very generous of you, Justin Fletcher, 7630. Thank you so much for being here and for your ongoing support and very generous donations, obviously, and sponsoring us. And thank all of you guys. Again, the retention on these, just crazy to me. 450 people here, 3.5 hours after we started, 3:09 a.m. here on the East Coast. And I don't know, Gary, we started we have about 800 when we started, and still 450 people here 3.5 hours later. So every single night I say it, but every single night it's true. I can't thank you guys enough for everything you do for me and allowing me to do this and be out here talking shit on sports on the internet. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to you, Gary. Thank you very much, as always, for everything you do on this live stream as well. And we will take tomorrow off, but we'll be back at it around 11:30, whenever the game ends. Game 4 on Wednesday. That's in Madison Square Garden. We'll see. I think the fate of the series hangs in the balance of that game. So it will be obviously a very fascinating game to watch and to break down here in the aftermath of it. So please do all join us again that night, Wednesday night. Until then, though, guys, have a great rest of your day or night tonight, and have a great day tomorrow.